That's Ram Jam, Black Betty. It's the Bennington Show on a Tuesday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. Now, opening song today, Ram Jam playing Black Betty, which could have just as easily been called Black Betty or the band could be Ram Jam, the band could be Black Betty. Doesn't matter.
No. It also sounds like he's saying Ram a Jam.
It does sound that way. And also, Rufus Wainwright, there's a great song with a shitty lyric.
Right.
Chow, damn thing went, wow, bam. Why?
I like any song where everyone's fighting to do backing vocals.
It's the only place to be. Not only do I do backing vocals, I actually step up to the imaginary backing mic on that.
Right.
You know, I'm just playing the bass and then I bam, jam, bam, lamb. All right, who picked the song? Joey Jojo.
I'm gonna go with Ron Bennington.
Vito, who picked the song today?
Ron Bennington.
Chris Stanley, who picked the song today?
I without a doubt know it's Ron Bennington because Eastbound and Down came up last week, and I know that your favorite scene in that show is featuring this song.
The person who picked the song today, Gail Bennington.
Yeah! Guys got fooled. You didn't know I was a Ram Jam fan.
I didn't know you were a Ram Jam.
Didn't know.
No one can name a second song by him.
Don't need to.
I love, like you're in this whole thing, and then they go into that weird, fucking watered-down Allman Brothers shitty jam for way too long. And you're like, hook, boys. Get back to the fucking hook.
There is a music video of them playing this song, pre-music video, so I'm not really sure, but it just looks like a really low-budget 70s horror movie. Like, it's just like a creepy house, a bunch of weird dudes standing on the front lawn.
Dude, I want that playing in my van fucking nonstop. Hey, Andrew, Strong Island, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Good.
So, pretty funny, a couple of years ago, I was in Patio Pizza in St. James, and apparently the guy, he lives in St. James, and I guess he had plans to get engaged with his fiance, or, well, get engaged with his girlfriend at the time. And they always have, like, a piano player at this place. And the piano player in the middle of his set just stops playing. And he goes, I'd like to make an announcement that I forget the guy's name, but he said, he'd like to sing a number for everybody. And he sung Black Betty in front of, like, this little pizza shop in the middle of St. James, like, with the piano going, and then he got engaged to his wife. I don't know, it's a pretty cool thing to see, this guy just stand up there and sing the song. It was like he looked just like the guy in the video, he was just older.
First of all, this is the greatest story I've ever heard in my life.
So good. So romantic.
Yeah, it is. Gorgeous. I mean, I guess if you were marrying a black chick, but I wonder, like we were talking yesterday, how far will the PC go? I think someday they're going to say, that's a rude thing just to bring up. The only defining feature of Betty was her skin color.
That was just that she was black.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember, Kashmir was very close to being named Black Betty by me because I thought Jam Band and Ram Jam. But then instead of calling him Ram Jam, I went with Black Betty. We decided that could be misconstrued as offensive.
Well, the thing is, years ago at WNEW, I did have a regular named Black Betty who used to come in. And she's doing stand-up now. She's doing great. But then at one point, it turned, and this, of course, would be offensive. She did a character named Slave Betty. And she'd be like this, please, Mr. Ron, you know what I mean? Just really doing like a funny slave character. And the listeners obviously loved it. And then Opie wanted to make a trade for her. He loved her character so much. And then finally she said, look, I've talked to some friends. I don't want to do the character Slave Betty anymore. Oh, God. And I said, okay.
Been talking it out.
Yeah.
Turns out that was not wise.
I was at a meeting with some people in the community, and though we all did it from a comedic point of view, it could be misconstrued. None of you guys caught the end of SNL when they did the Southern Rock Band to end the season. See if anybody can find that. Get it to Jojo ASAP, because it was so fucking ridiculous. And Fred Armisen is for no apparent reason, dressed completely like Greg Allman and playing keyboards. And I say for no apparent reason because then he did not play the part of Greg Allman. He was just a guy in a Southern rock band who came across looking oddly like Greg Allman. But there was no reason for it. And the song went on. And there was no jokes in the song. And I was loving it in a big, big way. All right, Mona wants to help us out with the name Black Betty. Hey, Mona.
Good morning. I could have sworn Black Betty was a whiskey that they drank. It was just one of those gut-wrenching, what do they call it? Really bad whiskey.
Rock gut is what you're looking for.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I think that's what it was, because this is like one of my favorite songs. So.
But how did it have a child and then the damn thing went wild?
That's true.
Well, because they drank it and then they all got screwed up and had babies.
Now, here's the deal.
I think that's the name of the whiskey, if you look it up.
We have pondered Black Betty by Ram Jam longer than the band has. There is no possible way they put as much thought into it as we did. Thanks, Mona.
He came forward to the rest of the band. He's like, hey, so I have some lyrics for that song we've been working on. And they're like, looks good. Let's just...
New update, Gail. New update on this. Chris in Nashville has some facts. Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song is actually a cover tune of an old Leadbelly song.
This is fantastic.
Okay.
Now, I'd love to hear the Leadbelly version. I'm sure he didn't go into a strange, watered-down Allman Brothers jam.
It is a lot more tame than that version.
Yeah. By the way, Gail, you're appearing tonight on the radio, terrestrial radio.
I am going to be on The Best Show, which is, you can check it out at thebestshow.net, 9 p.m. tonight with Tom Sharpling.
Wow, sweet.
So check it out.
He's never invited Chris on?
No, he has not. But I think it's an open invitation.
Well, there'd have to be an invitation before it's open.
I don't need any invitation from Tom Sharpling. He and I don't get along.
Sweet, up on the iBank today. Sweet fight at the annual New York City cops versus firemen. Giant fight breaks out, as it does every event between these guys. Whether they're playing hockey, softball, there's a lawn darts tournament that they'll just start whipping stuff at each other. But it's always amazing to me that the cops, whose whole thing is breaking up fights and don't take the law into your own hand, end up punching it out with the fucking firemen every chance. Every newspaper loves it, and every citizen of the city, county, and state of New York just loves the shit out of it too.
And you've got to pick a team. You've got to align yourself. It's easy for some because you've got family.
Oh yeah, but for people off the street,
yeah, you're like,
it's 100% firemen. No one's going to pick a cop over a fireman.
It's impossible. No two professions hate each other more than the cops and the firemen.
What about cops and drug dealers, or cops and robbers, or firemen and arsonists?
Jobs that dick taxes.
Jobs that dick taxes, he says. I wonder why Sharpling doesn't want him. Jobs that stick taxes. You would fucking cost anyone in terrestrial their show within 14 minutes.
What does that mean, to dick taxes?
It's just something the kids are saying now in Williamsburg. Time for me to dick taxes, dude. I just hit it so we can see them punching each other. Just fell in the field. Damn. Turning into a complete clusterfuck.
Is he all right? Shit. Jesus Christ.
I guess the cops are in blue, firemen in red, and then there's the clusterfuck.
Oh my God.
There's a fight of 40 people. And you can hear the Long Island crowd.
Oh my God. This is a huge brawl.
Oh yeah. It's like this almost, hockey gets this way. I don't know who else they play but each other. I don't know if
EMTs,
if New York's Strongest, the garbage men, are part of this league.
They would be tough competitors, I think.
See if they play kickball. There's a certain team here at Sirius XM, 0-6, the last I heard.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath out there in the kickball fields.
But it is interesting. Now, is that in every city, you think, that the firemen and the police have that kind of...
Nobody has this kind of time. No one has the time that New Yorkers have to put together a football team with a bunch of 38, 42-year-old men, and then they can start punching each other.
And then you also have, like, the neighborhoods. Like, they segregate themselves. Like, there's cop neighborhoods and firemen. Like, I live in a firefighter neighborhood. Most of the dudes there, most of those houses.
Mainly because they're all part of the same family.
Right.
But no, cops and firemen anywhere in the world don't like each other. And it isn't like, oh, they get in each other's way. It's like they both work for the city, and there's just either jealousy when it comes to chicks, jealousy when it comes to bars. It's just cops and firemen. It just, they're on each other's sides. But it's like Army, Navy. It's the same thing. You're on the same side, but you still divide yourself.
They're both very savvy. They still want to save people, I think.
I thought you had misused the word savvy. And I was just about to correct you. Yes, they're very savvy. Those are savvy jobs where radio isn't.
Don't you see you're also savvy?
You just want to save. Save me. That's what Amy Mann should have come out singing Save Me.
Everyone's against fire, though. It seems cops can arrest arbitrarily, but everyone doesn't like fire. I mean, that's the universal thing here. That's why you can't be on the side of the cops.
Okay, Jimmy, I understand. Now, you got to get up to bed, pal. You got school in the morning. I'm seriously. That is something a 9-year-old boy. That's the logic of a 9-year-old boy.
It's a good point.
Everybody's against fire.
I mean, everyone hates fire, right?
What about when we're cooking, Chris?
I'm talking about uncontrolled
Let me tell
fires.
you something. I saw a fucking fireman do this before. So I'm walking down. There's a fucking New York street fair, right? So this guy, he's got a big grill. He's making something fucking stupid, shish kebabs. He doesn't have a thing for it. He didn't pay the city to have his grill out there. Fire department came by and just with a big hose just fucking poured water into his thing. Why I could have just turned it off. They just fucking soaked it down.
It's so mean.
They're having a little fun, that's all.
Bullyish.
Yeah.
Now, can you start a fire from...
I use matches or a lighter.
Yeah.
But if you were in the wilderness, could you do that with, like, kindling and... Could you...
If I had a match, yes, I could do it with kindling.
But do you know any of those tricks? Like the rock or like...
No fucking living human being does. If you turn on Survivor every year, they fucking die until someone gives them the tools to start it.
Because I thought that was like a skill set that people should have.
Every human being on the planet used to have it.
Yeah.
Until we came up with the match, and then it was about half the people had it. And once the lighter was here, no one.
Yeah.
But at one point, everyone who lived on Earth could do that.
Yeah, and if you couldn't do it well, you'd have to really align yourself with a good group there.
Well, I'm a glasses wearer, and I think I could magnify the sun's intensity onto dry kindling.
First of all, I've tried your fucking glasses on.
Yeah.
You could burn ants from this fucking top of this building down on the street. Yes, but that's fucking cheating. That's the same thing as me going, oh, I'm a smoker, so I could take my lighter and do it. That's not what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She's talking about without tools, could you start a fire? And no, we would die.
We would just die, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we would lay down. I'd probably you get 2 rocks, right? I'd smash my fucking brains so I didn't have to starve to death. All right, Bernie Sanders is threatening that the convention could get messy. Just fucking give it to him. He wants it so bad. Just let him run for
God
president.
damn it, he's so scrappy. Just let him have it.
What does it matter who loses to Trump? Let them both run. Everybody runs. I would fuck you up. That's it. Fuck you. I don't know whether you guys ever watch Survivor, but they have these things where it's like a cheat where you get these things that can create sparks.
Yeah, it's like almost like this little thing that like rubs up little 2 pieces of metal.
But if you're going to have that, why don't you just have a fucking lighter? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're able to do it without any fucking help, then take all the help that's available to you.
I would love to get this show to do like a little summer camp, survival camp, and we all learn skills for the wilderness.
Here's what I'd like to do. Let's go to an Indian casino, check in there,
Okay.
and then later we'll look out the window at some woods.
That sounds good too,
I'm
actually.
in.
Sounds much better.
But I'm not going to sit around all fucking day and act like I live outside. That's just stupid.
It's gonna get boring after a while.
Hello, room service. Can you please send a campfire up to 1604? Yeah. And listen, I'm a little lonely. I don't know whether there's anyone around town, you know, that could introduce me to a woman. When you're just hanging around down the front desk, I don't know, lonely night tonight, you know? Just like to meet somebody. I mean, not, you know, for an hour. I could just meet someone for an hour.
Sir, I think we understand what you're asking.
This is, all right, you went and found it. So you've got to picture this, Gail. This is, SNL, and now you're going all the way back to the beginning to find it? You had it. What did you do? Because I didn't go to it immediately, you just got rid of it?
Yeah, I
Why?
X'd out. It was, I should have kept it open.
Why don't you just be a man and say why you did it?
It was lagging the computer a little bit, the broadband.
I don't know who I don't know who I'm gonna put where. The whole fucking thing was somebody look it up, someone look it up. Now I'm sitting through another fucking commercial. You know what? Just don't even do it, Joe. Just let it go. I don't want to lag your fucking broadband. I want your broadband just to be perfect today. Okay. It's me being fucking sarcastic. Butch. Just fucking Butch for 5 minutes. All right, let me set this up properly. This is now, you know, it's just running without the fucking sound up. So this is the last moment of the SNL year, and there's no reason to do this. They've got everybody on the stage. There's not a single payoff joke here, and yet I found it hilarious. Fred Armisen ending the year at SNL. Why is that the funniest shit in the world?
There's no joke there. Like, there's no punchline to this joke.
But by the time they hit Henrietta, I was fucking screaming. Mainly because, you know, I was in middle school in this period of time, and I listened to songs like that instead of going to school. You know what I mean? Like, I would have went to see that fucking band in a heartbeat.
And she says, running on stones in your until you see Henrietta.
Henrietta! The whole fucking band. It's funny as shit.
By the way, I love that no matter what the character is, what the scene is,
Yeah.
Vanessa Bayer still has like the smile of like
I
a
know.
5-year-old on her face. Like, she can't help it. Like, her personality always just like shines through whatever character she has.
All right, so that's how come I lagged the fucking broadband, because I want you to see that, because I thought it was just fucking hilarious. Chris, why do we have to worry in fucking 2016 about lagging broadband?
I'm calling back IT today to see what.
Why don't you fucking call Don? Every time you meet Don, no problems. Everything's great. Get to the fucking the computer should not be a 1994 fucking computer.
It's lappy.
Oh, it's lagging. Oh boy, I didn't want to lag computer. Okay, I didn't want to lag it. Joe, you know what? I'll take your fucking glasses, and then you're going to be blind Betty walking around here.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm going to do. Anytime that you fucking do something like drive me crazy for no apparent reason, you lose the glasses.
I will, okay.
New punishment.
I can't stand when he does the baby thing like that. Okay. I don't know why it is. It drives me nuts.
It does drive him nuts, Joe. You should know it.
Why are you're a fucking grown man, dude.
Yeah.
Don't baby voice it.
Okay.
Just go like this, Ron, shut the fuck up. You know these computers don't work, and I'll be like, okay, Joe, take it easy, dude. You know, don't be fucking screaming at
Why is he freaking out now? What's the
That's him.
problem?
That's fucking Joe.
Hey, let
you know
him
what I
be.
mean?
He's a hothead.
You know what? It's me. I throw a match in the fucking gasoline. I should get burnt. But I don't like the baby around kappa cuppy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? All right, Chris, you're just
milkshakes back in.
Don't
I gave Joe constructive criticism.
You did. And then he's like, seriously, I want to listen to that song 3 times today.
And later when Chris is in trouble for something, he'll just go, "Don't you hate Joe?"
Yeah.
Remember when Joe did that annoying voice?
Baby talk like that fucking Joe.
That's it.
You like fucking Pebbles Flintstone, Joe. There's no reason to do it. That's actually a pretty good impression. I'm going to add that to that new First Impressions show. Which, was there a second night of it? There's too many fucking TV stations.
There's too many everything.
Do you know 18 people on my show have a fucking pilot this year? On my block. 18 different people. They could have swing by. I go, everyone can't. Maybe I'll have a pilot day where everybody from this fucking... What's wrong, Chris? Here's what this sleazy bastard does. I'm watching him. He takes his 2 fucking hands. He rubs it against his forehead because he's sweating, and then he looks at the sweat in his palms.
I've noticed that you look at your own sweat a lot.
It's just a pool of sweat.
But why look at it? What do you expect to see?
It just surprises me every
color?
time. This room is so hot.
Okay, so this time it's blood. It's blood this time.
It's happened once before.
No, Joe, don't fucking talk on the air like I need to change you, all right?
Okay.
I don't want to fucking put you on your back, change out your fucking diaper, and then powder you.
I don't need it.
You're the man up. Put a little fucking bass in the voice. I can't date it. My broadband. That fucking song was hilarious.
It was so good.
I couldn't get a single person to agree with me. Because for some reason, all of you watch the show until you get to the very end of the year.
I actually, I was out Saturday night, so I watched clips. So I didn't get to that part yet. So I was watching it in little sections.
A lot of people watch it in clips.
Yeah.
Huh?
I normally don't. I normally watch it all the way through, but...
I always watch the end of the year to see if somebody does the thank you wave that we'll never see him again. Not one of those pricks want to give up their job.
They're solid. They're happy with that cast, I think, right now.
Well, they said next year is going to be 30% less commercials, but then a lot of just corporate things in the middle of stuff. Like, I finally got to watch the show. I think it's called Dangerous Dinosaur. It's Dangerous Dinosaur Park is the name of it. Did all you guys watch Dangerous Dinosaur Park?
I saw Dangerous Dinosaur Park.
And there was just like people were drinking Starbucks for no reason.
Yeah.
And then they go over, I think his name is 30 Rock. So 30 Rock, he's trained raptors, right?
Yeah.
So she stops by to see him, and he's in this sweaty shirt. And he's fixing a bike, and she asks him a question, and he just takes a long, refreshing pull off of Coca-Cola. Give me a second. That's refreshing. Icy fresh, right? Coke. Love it.
Can we get back to these bad dinosaurs?
Oh, yeah. Right after another swig of this Coca-Cola.
Chugging that Coke.
Tastes like childhood. Well, what were you saying? Now that I'm relaxed after this sweet, cold Coca-Cola. Feels good on my balls, too. Don't mind if I press them down there.
Doesn't it have sticky?
You know what? Don't ad-lib this.
But it took me out of the film for a second. Dangerous Dinosaurs. Now, if there was a Dangerous Dinosaur Park, right?
Sure.
Would you go to it to see the Dangerous Dinosaurs, knowing that there's always a good chance that they start eating the locals?
Well, considering at this point, in this world, I would have known that at one point dinosaurs got loose and attacked Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I would probably not trust it. I would probably say, you know what, they have a bad track record.
Right. It's like blowing yourself into a volcano. I'm sure it would be beautiful, but none of us do it.
I'd have to go to Dangerous Dinosaur Park. I'd have to.
First of all, you haven't been on the other side of the Hudson. You haven't seen anything in your own country.
Yeah, but
you haven't seen the Jersey-Pennsylvania border yet. You haven't been to the Delaware Gap.
Nope. But let's say Costa Rica gets this dinosaur park going. I'm going.
Yeah, but you haven't seen birds. You haven't seen any bird outside of a pigeon. I don't believe you.
And a sparrow.
You wouldn't know what a sparrow was.
They're like the little pigeons, right? They're hanging out with the pigeons.
Oh, my God.
No, a little pigeon is a baby pigeon, Chris. Doesn't go from sparrow to pigeon. Hot, hot summer nights.
Henrietta.
All right, we got to hear it one more time because it's fucking seriously great. All right, let's just do it one more time. Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, Moynihan does it once, touch the instrument. He just has it in front of him. But Bobby is fucking hilarious that it doesn't matter what his part is, he goes 110%.
He does.
Every time.
What do you call that hat that he was wearing? It was very popular in the 70s during that exact look. And it's not quite like a train conductor hat.
All right, let's take a look at it. I know we're lagging, and that's always a big problem. But are there hats without names, or just a hat that we haven't heard the name of?
Well, I've been through the desert with a hat with no name.
Felt good to be out of the rain.
So it's not something that exists now in any way. So there's somewhere between like a train conductor's hat and like a beret, kind of.
All
it's
right.
a very.
I'm going to see the close-up of it.
Should be right after this. You should be able to see it. But it was very big during that time.
If anyone knows the name of that.
There it is there. So it's kind of like...
Yes, it's in between.
Floppy.
Yeah, it's too big to be a beret.
Right, exactly.
I mean, could there be something called a gigantic beret?
Like some type of gigantic brimmed beret?
Yeah. But if you're even looking, there's 5 variations of hat alone that don't have names.
Right.
One could be like a miner's hat, like a miner 49er hat. Some are in between gangster hat and cowboy hat.
Look, I like any time period genre that utilizes headwear. I like a good hat.
I'm all for a summer straw hat, no matter what happens.
It's a good look.
It's a good look, but it's also much needed in the summertime because of hot, hot summer nights. Summertime in Fayetteville, hot, hot summer nights. How do you sit around and fucking pitch that?
And then Lauren says yes to it. Like, that's even weirder. Instead, he's like, I'm going to trust your instinct on this, and it should go well.
All right, Tony thinks he has the name of the hat at 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. What do you got, Tony?
Is it a pork pie hat?
No, a pork pie hat is like what Rick Danko from the band would wear.
It's not a pork pie hat. I'm familiar with a pork pie. Love a pork pie.
Love it on the right person.
Sure. If on the wrong person, it could look quite costumey.
Yes.
Like if Chris...
Yes, if Chris Stanley wore it. Here's Dave in Ohio. Dave, what do you got?
I think if it's the way you're describing it, I think they called that an apple hat.
All right, we're going to take a look at an apple hat. I know Steve Jobs was in an apple hat. I see it. I like it.
Yeah, I think he might be right. But
I don't think it had the little brim. An apple hat is what you would see some of the guys from Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids wearing.
Right.
Yeah, it was big in the 70s. We all had them.
It's a fabulous hat. I don't think it's the one. Let's take, if we can get a. Do you think that's an apple hat, Chris?
I think it's possible.
It's in the area, but I don't think it's an exact apple hat.
I don't know. I think it could be an apple hat.
Also,
because we never get a close up on them.
If it is called an apple hat, I've never heard that term before. I've never heard the term.
They were huge.
Well, who used to? I think his name was Rollo. That used to hang out with Sanford and Son, the son from Sanford and Son. It would always be Rollo, and he would rock a fucking apple hat. Some of the dudes, like I said, hanging out with the Cosby Kids would have an apple hat on.
Did Springsteen rock an apple hat?
I
feel
don't
like I've seen
believe so.
pictures with him with an apple hat.
I don't believe so.
I feel like he used to do more like a cheese cutter's hat.
Yeah.
Or is that what you call a cheese cutter? Or
Yeah, like you could go cheese cutter. The entire E Street Band dressed like they had prostitutes. The Jay Giles Band dressed the same way.
Keaton Thompson's wearing an apple hat.
What's that?
Keaton Thompson's wearing an apple hat.
All right, good call on that, Chris. Here's Chris in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it's an engineer's hat.
No. Couldn't be an engineer's hat. No.
it has similar construction, and I see where you're going with it, but it does similar things, but it's not that. It's much floppier. And
Yeah, no. An engineer's, by the way, the amount of people get away with an engineer's hat is very, very small. Most of the time, you got to be able to see train tracks before you're even going to let somebody wear a fucking brim like that.
Or you're a 4-year-old, which it really works on.
Chris from Arkansas.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Cool.
Yeah, hey, I was just calling in. We're trying. I'm from Fayetteville, actually.
Right.
Where we're coming up on the summertime, and I don't know if I missed something here, but we're trying to figure out the inspiration for the song. How of all places, the SNL got a hold of it.
Well, your city is the way we think of a hot southern, mid-south summer time. You know what I mean? So there's no doubt about it. And all you guys look like that, and you play that kind of music,
Well, it's definitely one of those towns. It's kind of it is a college town. University of Arkansas is there, but it's also got its Allman Brothers post-hippie population as well, with your handmade leather bag stores and all that.
Yeah,
good
man,
stuff.
it's a fantastic vibe. Everybody loves the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I mean, let's just face it. You guys are that thing, and you should own it. You should be proud of it. I know Molly Hatchet still to this day wants to stop in and do a summer gig there. It's perfect.
Well, good deal. And hey, I also, really huge beret. That just sounds good, I think.
Really huge beret. Okay, could be. Thanks. Could you imagine, literally you're watching TV and then this parody comes up and your town is the one that's mentioned?
Are you mocking me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I am. In a light way. Chuck, Boogie, what's up?
Back in the day, we used to call those go-go hats.
Go-go hats. I've never heard the term.
Go-go hats?
Yeah.
Yeah, Burger King used to use an exaggerated one back then.
That looks like something Sherlock Holmes would put on his fucking...
I'm not sure if it is a go-go hat.
Dave, Calgary. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good, Ron. Listen, back in the 70s and 80s, I used to see a whole lot of welders using those hats when they were welding to protect their heads.
There was always the term welder's hat, but to me that was always tighter.
Yeah, that's more like a little ski cap with a brim.
Yeah. Now, I used to have a lot of friends that welded back when Sun Ship was together, right? And they would always want to wear everything tight, because you'd never want a piece to get in between your clothing and and they said it would happen occasionally that a little fucking metal piece would end up between your clothing and your bare skin.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible. So you're buttoning it all the way up to the neck.
You would also layer up too.
Oh, just tiny little
Henrietta. It's the fucking greatest song ever. Richard, St. Louis.
Yeah, hey, Ronnie. That's called a Bible hat. It's named after that little mouse from American Tail. Got real
popular. That Bible hat always reminded me of what's called a Greek fisherman's hat.
Yeah, I think that's what that hat is.
Yeah. My dad would always say, "Could you go up to Tarpon Springs, grab me one of those Greek fisherman hats for the summer?"
I feel like those had a little resurgence for a while, the Greek fisherman hat.
Why wouldn't it?
I mean, the youngsters get a hold of everything.
Well, the youngsters, you know what I mean? They love it. I'll tell you who's now the hipster doofus of all time. The fucking posing president of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, he's over in Vietnam making a fucking gun deal, right? He's making an arms deal with Vietnam. We're making sure we're loading them up because they're going to be fighting China or North Korea or whoever they're pissed off at this week. And he takes time out of this to get a $6 noodle lunch with Anthony Bourdain.
Come on.
Oh, my God.
So let's start to go over the fucking hipster. He's been on Mark Maron's podcast, not just like doing an interview with Mark Maron, but going into his fucking garage.
Sure.
The same way Carrot Top did. 2, he's in between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis and hanging with the comedy Bang Bang crew. And now he's on, I don't know, I'm gonna guess and say it's whatever the new reservations is for all the foodies out there.
Love foodie.
And don't forget he went to South by.
Yes, he was at South by, and South by was pretty cool because, he's already grown that handlebar mustache. So he was riding around town on an old-timey bike, drinking craft beer.
I like our hipster doofus president.
What the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
Also, I really don't think he can out-hipster Bernie Sanders.
I think that's his concern. As Sanders came up, he started to try to be part of it.
Yeah.
And then him and his wife farmed a table. Am I right, guys? You can taste the dirt in this potato. I don't know why I'm talking this way. Seriously, I can't stand the fucking hipster pose. I'm all vinyl. I don't know about you guys. I'm straight vinyl.
I find him so relatable.
When I started tending to my own bees and making my own honey, I got to thinking to myself, nature.
He's composting at the White House now.
What the fuck is wrong with him? Why do you got to do this? We see you, okay? We fucking see you. It's just like if this was the 70s and fucking Richard Nixon came out and was wearing elephant fucking bell bottoms, nobody's going to suddenly say, hey, you're Coolsville.
Also, doing no reservations, like, do you really need to get your brand out there at this point?
What the fuck are you doing? What are you fucking doing?
Like, even if you said Hillary Clinton was doing this, I would be like, God, she's really grasping at straws. Right. She's trying to, like, get the youth on her side. She's trying to look cool. But you're like, you don't have to do this, bro.
And look how he's dressed. Like, first of all, you're not casual if you take off your jacket and tie. You're just a man in a white shirt and fucking slacks now. It's gotta fucking stop. I can't take this weird fucking posing that he did. It's constant with him. We know what you're fucking doing, dude. You're not the cool dad. Stop it. Corey in Buffalo.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Gordon Downey from the Tragically Hip has come out saying he's got terminal brain cancer.
I saw that. It's a heartbreaker. And then they say they're touring this summer.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that this morning. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It's going to be good for the tour, though.
Oh, I mean, the tour is going to do really well.
Yeah. Zach in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived up here in Tallahassee since the early 90s. This band could play Tallahassee and still sell Tallahassee out at least twice a week.
Dude, I'd be at this fucking show tomorrow.
This is the exact kind of music
I never get sick of that.
In North Florida forever, and I don't want it to ever go away.
It has never left Florida. Ever.
Oh, no. No.
And,
I could throw a rock and hit one of these guys from where I am right now if I open the window.
When you think of the Heartbreakers and they're back out on tour with their original band, what do they call it? It's like Mud Crutch or something like that?
Mud Crutch, I think is what they're going by.
It's Mud Crutch. And that was the band that they were all in together when they were kids. And it's like Petty isn't the lead singer, but he's still in the band. And fucking that music will always live on. kind of Southern rock thing, country meets rock.
And it's perfect for summertime music. It's perfect for outdoor show.
I mean, when we're talking about all the hipster shit, that's like the original Back to the Earth people, because they would just go get a farmhouse somewhere. 12 of them would live there, and the barn would become some kind of half-assed recording studio, and it was the fucking best. It was the best.
We also birth all our children here.
Cool. Why do I think that fucking Barack Obama, after he does something like this, goes back and checks his Instagram numbers?
Of course he does.
It's so annoying. You're the fucking president of the United States. You don't have to go between two ferns, and you don't have to go, what's it called? No something new?
It's Parts Unknown is the new
Parts
show.
Unknown.
It's the same show.
Exactly same show.
It's the same show. We just renamed it 8 times. Why don't you just call it Bourdain? $6 noodles, huh? That is tasty. Tony, what is that, gizzard? Is that gizzard, sir?
They shared a beer, too.
Of course they do. Look, drinking a single fucking beer is the dumbest thing in the world. If you fucking came back from commercial and I saw 18 fucking dead soldiers laying across there, I'm like, oh, I see what these guys are doing. Afternoon drinking. But, oh, nothing like having a beer, is there? Huh? One single beer? Right.
It's insane for them to do that.
Dude, I don't know whether you've seen my Twitter numbers, but they're just nuts right now. Although I got the haters. I'm not going to lie to you. Haters got a hates.
Mr. President, you're trending again. Good.
Get a picture of me and my beehive.
I think he's going to start a record label after he gets out of the presidency.
Camp.
Ronnie B?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. The band, the Heartbreakers' original band is Mike Crutch, not Mud Crutch.
Wait, that's not what they're not touring under Mike Crunch.
Yeah.
Wait, look it up. Could somebody in my lagging show look up?
It's Mud Crutch is what they're...
It's Mud Crutch, dude.
On XM, they're announcing it as Mike Crutch.
Well, why don't you just fucking Google it, look at the thing. Maybe you don't understand the pronunciation.
That's very possible.
Mud Crutch, official fucking website.
Yeah, nobody's name is Mike Crutch.
I thought it sounded ridiculous, too.
You made it up. You're the only person who heard it.
You're whacked out, dude.
I don't know. You ever listen to Petty's Buried Treasure? Buried treasure. It's a real buried treasure. Buried treasure. Got some songs that are buried. It's so fucking funny. I don't know what he's saying, but I'll start to listen to that. I'll go through 5 fucking hours of it because they'll just stack them up one after another. It's great.
It's good road tunes.
It's good everything tunes. It was you got Tom Petty picking out your songs for you for an hour. I love it. Buried treasure. Everybody, welcome back to Buried Treasure. Fucking fantastic. I'll go the days I live in. I don't know why Greg Allman doesn't have a fucking hour. I listen to Heartbeat. This is something called Fayetteville Nights. All right. Somebody wrote in the other guy didn't mean go-go hat. He meant pogo hat.
Pogo hat.
Yeah. Now we get it. What else is happening out there? What else is going on the planet Earth today?
What's going on in the snooze? Well, did you see this video of the gerbil who was really sad at the human?
Oh yeah, this is the gerbil who had its food taken away. Well, we're lagging. The
heartbreak and horror.
So it's eating food, and then the second it takes the food away from him, he just he goes into heartbreak stunned.
What is he thinking about?
Because a vision softly creeping.
The gerbil may be the saddest of all animals.
I watched this last night and I actually got sad. He looks like he's gone into like he's remembering something horrible.
It's how I get. It's why I don't like memories. I'd like to just have a complete wipe clean of any fucking memory. Like, yeah, and there would be 0 tattoos on me trying to remember the fucking past. I'd just be like, this is great. Do you remember anything? Nope.
Mm-mm.
You know where you're from? Just want to sit on the couch here for a while.
Did you ever see that documentary about the guy who woke up on the F train in Coney Island and
Chris Stanley.
That's me.
But
Sounds of Stanley.
Covered in his own piss and puke. Yeah, I work with that dude.
He had 0 memory and had no idea how he got there, what his name was, and they just kind of follow him along his, way as he's kind of uncovering more information about who he was. It's really crazy, and they never were able to figure out how he suddenly could just wake up with amnesia. It's not like they could.
Well, we don't
find
know
it.
what happened to him before. Maybe something did happen. Maybe he had a shock of some kind.
Yeah, like
or maybe he's lying.
There is a part of the documentary where people start to feel like.
But he didn't have a single friend in the world. Nobody who knew who he was.
It just took a while to find out, figure out who was.
And what happened?
Well, the really weird thing about it is that he ended up developing an entirely different personality. So not only are your memories wiped clean, but it was like he was a completely new person. So originally he had been this very young, successful, I believe stockbroker or something. He had made a ton of money in his early to mid 20s.
Stress did it.
And then all of a sudden, he was able to kind of step back from that because he had made so much money and he wanted to pursue different things. But anyway, he wakes up, he's this new guy, he doesn't remember who his family is, anything. And now the people, when they meet him again, say his personality is really kind and gentle and artistic, and when he had actually been kind of like a dude bro.
He probably got fucking shot in the brain like fucking Harrison Ford and turned into a fucking simpleton child. Look, and she was actually a listener of mine when I was in Florida. Woman, I can't remember the whole story. It's like a small stroke, but she started speaking with a British accent, and she was Southern. She was living in Bradenton or Sarasota. And then they actually went and checked it out, and it fit in a certain part of England. She was doing a perfect accent from a place in England
that she had never been, that she had no awareness of.
There was no connection. She wasn't a British person. She was and people brought it up, and I'm like, what the fuck do I care? I'm not going to fucking act like that's not a cool way to talk. It's fine.
Good for her.
Yeah.
But if you start to contemplate how confusing your own brain, I think it's as confusing as trying to contemplate the universe, is thinking your own brain, how anything even works, how you develop a personality, what specific memories you hold on to, what things happen to you that you just completely release.
Do you ever go back and try to think, I'm going to remember everything from 3rd grade and see if I can find a new covered memory, and you can never do it?
No.
You just remember the ones that you had. Now, sometimes you get it. You can remember fist fights, or you can remember stealing something or lying to your parents, whatever thing that brought it, either great joy, fear, shame, but I have plenty of memories. They're just me sitting there,
Yeah.
just sitting out by a tree next to my house.
Yeah. You're just I was sitting there, I was having an otter pop. My cousin came over and she said this. And then I guess I just was there for a while. You don't know why you remember. There was not a big life event. Now, the day before, something really significant to you, or develop somehow your personality, or a fear maybe. And that one you can't access for some reason. That one you just skip right over, as though it never happened.
Yeah. I remember certain things, but not how I got there. And I remember I was 11. I flew by myself, right, to go out to the carnival. And I remember being in the Chicago airport, but I don't remember the flight. And I'm you would think for 11, flying by yourself, that was the part. But I remember being in the airport and not wanting the fucking assistance, being pissed off and leaving because the assistants, and then they had to start calling my name over the air. My mom was mad at me, and I got on the phone with my mom, and I was like this. You're making me walk around with blind people. I was so mad at her. Like, I fucking was so humiliated that that they had this person was like, yes, we're all going to go to the gate together. That's what my mom wanted me to do, and I wanted to fucking find my own way to the gate. So I just fucking took off. I didn't like run, but I just made a Louis while everybody was going one way, and I'm like, I'll find my own way. And then they, I guess, started freaking out, and they're like trying to find this kid. And then I get on the phone with my mom, and I'm like, you're making me walk around with blind people. Drive me nuts. But I'm like, why can't I remember the fucking flight? Was I up against the window? Was I stuck on an aisle seat? That should be a little boy's memory.
Here's a specific one that, like, for some reason, I'm able to access this very specific memory from when I was a kid. So much so that I feel like I could be back in my body looking from this perspective. But I believe I was in about second grade, and my great aunt was coming home from the hospital because we were going to take care of her and do hospice, right? So it was pouring torrential rain, and I'm sitting in class at school knowing that she was coming home. And I remember the feeling like looking at the window pane, it's raining. And my teacher kept kind of like getting at me, being like, you need to pay attention. Cause I was just turning and looking at the rain and feeling like this like weight on my shoulders, like adult level worry of just like, I hope they're getting home okay. And how is she getting in? But then I can't remember like coming home and seeing her the very first time. Can remember other memories.
Everything that you're remembering is correct because I had to fucking build trenches because the water was fucking flowing up to the house as we're trying to put in a fucking hospital bed.
Yeah. It was a really bad rain. It was like a...
Well, for, the Florida, the level there, the water level is like in our yard at that time, if you would have just started digging within 4 or 5 fucking shovelfuls, the water would have started to come up in the ground.
Yeah.
That's how low, you're almost below sea level there. So your memory is exactly correct. It was a very stressful day for everybody.
But it's strange that I can access that memory so quickly that I remember what it feels like to be like a second grader. Like, guys, I got a lot on my mind. I can't pay attention to this lesson right now.
You were a weird kid that way. You wanted to be in the middle of concerns. But do you remember her being home with us and all?
Yeah, I remember a lot of specific memories about that experience.
This was the funniest thing. So it was very hard to get everything set up. And then she didn't like, the hospital thing that she didn't like or whatever. And like, she was so happy to be there. And then all of her sisters, they were all elderly. And they were all so happy that we took her home for this hospice thing. I'll never forget that experience.
Yeah, it was definitely the biggest experience I had where my view of death and how death works and the way it's experienced, like all of that came from that experience, first and foremost.
It's always also funny how little that I was concerned of how it was going to affect you kids. It's like, yeah, it's great.
They'll be fine with this.
They're good.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Step up to the plate. Look death right into the eye. What do you think, kids?
Guess that's a perspective for all of us, huh? You in kindergarten, that other kid. You too, right? All right, let's break here. Right back, Bennington. It's the Bennington Show. And that's is it the Harkin Brothers? Is that what they're called?
The Harkin Brothers.
The Harkin Brothers. Their big summer hit. Hot summertime in Fayetteville. Ron Bennington, Gail Bennington.
Yo.
Chris, I just saw you getting aggravated over there. What was getting to you?
There's technical problems in here that I've been addressing that I'm trying to get fixed.
We've got a lot of weird stuff today, right? The phones didn't start.
No, they were
screwed. The computers had to all be rebooted.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
You know what? We can't get to Memorial Day fast enough.
And you notice it's way quiet in here for a Tuesday. I think you could tell tons of people already took this week off. I took from the train.
Yeah, you take the week off and you get the extra day. It's very smart.
It's a good look.
We got a couple days off at the end of the week. We're back here on Tuesday. I'm going to be doing a town hall with Mr. Martin Short, which is it's very, very exciting.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for this one.
It's going to be a blast. So make sure you get on that town hall list. That's something that we've got to start teaching people how to do, because you got to somehow be on, if you're a serious subscriber and you want to come to these things, you have to have comedy somewhere in the hook. So we'll get to that. I meet with Don and Jack after the show today. By the way, Showtime is doing a John Belushi documentary, and I always had a theory about that. If John Belushi did not die, Bill Murray never would have gotten the attention that he gets today.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure a lot of those roles would have gone
Ghostbuster?
Yeah. That was supposed to be
Ghostbusters
him.
was written for, but it wasn't even just the roles. It was like, once John died, Bill also got the full thing that he probably would have shared with John. You know, the full attention of, hey, where is he? What's he doing? Because Belushi was a lot more awake than Bill Murray. He displaced a lot more water. And even now, people have to go looking for Murray. But John Belushi would show up and was like the circuses in town.
Yeah, it seemed like he was the kind of person that everyone liked because they wanted to spend time with him. Like, not just because they thought he was funny.
They
but
wanted
they're
to
like,
party with him is the word that you're looking for.
Sure.
And that's what ended up killing him. But it also, after he passed away, and anybody who is not old enough to remember that was one of those devastating deaths for people. I mean, just rocked everybody. And, you know, we've had a couple in this past year, the Prince and Bowie, where you find out, oh, everybody liked this person as much as I did. You know, when we lost Robin Williams, it was just, I didn't realize how much I liked Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams was one of the ones where everyone got into a conversation and you realize everybody had some connection with him. And, you know, it was whether you discovered him when you were really young or,
But I remember having a fight with you and your brother about Robin Williams when you guys were saying, why does he talk that way? Black people don't talk that way. And I was screaming at you both. They did in the 70s when he first started doing this bit. Because he never got past that, hey, so give me some scales. So, you know what I mean? He never updated his black stereotype.
Sure, it was very confusing for us.
Well, you know what? Kids like to turn against whatever their parents like and make fun of them for it, too. You know? Chris, I know you went through... Oh, no. You never went through that with your dad.
No. But he would do the Robert Williams black voice when he would talk about black people.
Yeah, it was a 70s thing that I guess all those black people died, but people did talk that way.
Yeah.
We just mentioned the great Rolo from Sanford and Son.
That was a well-dressed man.
Excuse me?
That was a well-dressed man.
It would take him 5 minutes to shake hands and slap and move back and forth when people were giving each other skin. All right, it is the Bennington Show. Kind of a cool thing up on the iBank today that says native New Yorkers, people living in New York, do not show up for the 9/11 memorial. When you go down there, you see people from around the country, but it's less than 20% native New Yorkers who attend the memorial every year. That number is higher than I even would have thought it was. I don't know a single person except for Molly and her family who have been to the 9/11 memorial.
I don't know anyone who did not come here as a tourist or visiting family or something. All the people I know who grew up here, who I was either with on that day or, just happened to, live here around that time. I don't know anyone who has been. I've never been. I don't have any friends who have ever been.
Would you ever want to go there?
I
have zero inclination to go there.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's not even a choice where I'm like, I feel like that's not a good place. It's just like, it doesn't interest me. To me, when I would want to reflect on it and connect to it, I think because it's easily accessible for me, like I can think about it and feel the way I felt that day.
Yeah, I just more like, I want to suppress it or push it out of my mind. I'm going to be honest, like all my memories, there's not any memory, even good ones, that I want to flow.
Right.
They all bring pain. That's why I want to get wiped clean completely and restart. And let me tell you this, when I restart the alphabet, right?
Yeah.
I'm not lining them up in order. And I hate the fact that it is lined up in order. Why should an A become before a B? There's no fucking reason for this. every time that you say the alphabet, it should be in any way that you want. You want to start with Q? Okay? Start with Q. No one's stopping you.
Why don't we go for either groupings of vowels first or
A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y?
Yeah. Why can't we start the alphabet there? Or let's go like most used letters first and foremost.
Well, that we could actually call the Wheel of Fortune thing. Well, we start with R, N, T. It's always the same letter. The dullest part of the show.
S-L.
But who's the person who lined the fucking alphabet up and who gave him that responsibility? And who gave them that fucking power that they could just lord over people? Because I remember there was a little girl that I went all the way 1st through 12th grade with. Zabrowski was her last name. Was fucking last in everything. Her entire life. By the time she got the ice cream, it was melted. You know? By the time she met the fucking magician, everybody else was already out playing fucking kickball for 10 minutes. Her entire life was destroyed because she had a Z last name. A B, an A, a C. Whoever said these things were better than a Z?
Also, if you have an early name, like I know that people who had a Z less, but if you have an A, B, or C, if you're called on for something specific where you have to give the answer to, or there's some sort of performance level, you're like, man, I wish I was at least a little back so I had some time to think about this.
Yeah, no, you got to be a jump on it guy if you're in an A, B, or C name. Sometimes you just go to some places in life because I have a last name to B, and they're going, oh, you don't know how many A's are here. This could go on for an hour and a half with just the number of A's that we have. And I'm like, really? And, but even that, the fact that you're standing around homeroom with the same fucking kids for years on end. Bullshit. So that's one of the things that, you know what, Barack Obama, instead of trying to be the fucking hipster doofus king of fucking Williamsburg and doing everything, why don't you just take and go like this? I'm taking all the letters, putting them in a bag, shaking it up. Whatever comes out first. And what if he went like, he puts his hand in the bag? You're not going to believe this. Hey, you believe it? Come on. It was meant to be. Could happen. That's a 1 in 26 chance. Now, I have less of a problem than the numbers lining up the way they do, because fuck it, there is order to that world.
Makes sense.
But there's zero reason that it should be A, B, C, D. And then what do? Immediately we said, you know your ABCs. We say to kids.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, I know them. Not in the order you fucking want, though. I got my own way of doing things.
I mean, why are we I would assume the Romans, right? I mean, I would assume that it was the Romans who started
because they wrote Latin.
Yeah, but didn't we base our alphabet on the Latin alphabet?
I don't know. I mean, you look at the Chinese and they're fucking drawing pictures of shit. I mean, if you look like a fucking bee over there, it looks like 2 trains fucking. I would never have made it through there. I can't learn my ABCs. I can't draw as well as you people.
How do they even get anything down? It takes so long to fucking write one of those.
All right, Chris, I already fucking said it, dude.
But I mean,
I know, but have your own fucking emotions, right?
You know what I've found difficult? G in the first name. It's not an easy letter. It's just not an easy letter to draw.
G?
No, I don't find
I take it like a C and then I hook it over.
Yeah, I know, but there's an imperfection to it.
Well, look, when it comes to cursive, there are no capital fucking cursives in my world. I fucking give you a printed cursive and then I fucking finish. You know, I do a print word, I do a print B, right? Nice. And then I'm back into cursive.
Squiggles.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I've stopped even signing my name on checks. I can't even do that anymore. All I do is just like a line. It's terrible.
Well, then I'll be sure to grab your checkbook. Easy enough to fucking catch.
I've seen the way you sign a T-shirt.
I know.
It looks like a 4-year-old's printed his name.
Dude, he eats like a 4-year-old. All right, today I'm standing outside. He still comes out to smoke with me, even though he doesn't smoke. So I'm walking up in the morning, right? In front of the building, I just see him pacing around in a fucking circle, like a polar bear in a fucking Philadelphia zoo. You know, he's walking back and forth. So I come up, Altoid, because now he's into Altoids. I go, no, thanks, Chris. Maybe after I'm done smoking, but not during. It's an insane thing.
It's called a menthol.
I turn around. I go, is he fucking biting all of his teeth are crunching? He's just chewing on Altoids like there's no tomorrow.
How many are you popping in your mouth at once?
I'm going through a can a day at the Altoids.
Well, why chew them like that?
I don't know.
I saw you chewing Whoppers the other day.
Yeah, well, I thought you were supposed to chew a Whopper. I know you're supposed to suck on them.
You don't get the implosion if you chew through them.
But he chews everything. He doesn't suck on anything. Don't get oral from this guy. Johnny, in Georgia.
Hello?
Yeah, Johnny, what's up?
Yeah, even if that ABC go in order, how come a typewriter or a keyboard don't do the same thing? I got to hunt around.
It's true. You're hunting and pecking. You know, it starts with Q there. And the W-E-R. Why is not the alphabet?
QWERTY?
Damien says to you, it's the Phoenician alphabet, you dumb bitch.
What?
Yeah. Phoenician.
Fuck you, dude.
Oh, I added the dumb bitch part.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the information.
Wordy turdy, I like the alphabet to be lined up by shapes that match. Ryan says the only reason why we follow alphabetical order is G, P, T, and Z rhyme.
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it.
It's a big joke. Some Phoenicians back in the day were just willy-nilly with this whole thing.
Well, look at this. Rooster sent this in. This guy must have made up their own Ron and Fez bumper sticker. I never remember us having a Ron and Fez bumper sticker. But then they had a Trump bumper sticker, and the person right on them, fuck, kill Trump. I guess that's a variation of fuck, marry, kill, but it's fuck, kill, Trump. Like, I'll give you 3 women. Who do you fuck, who do you kill, and then who do you Trump?
Yeah, Trump all 3.
No. Why are you changing the game around?
That's not how the game is played.
You know what? You better get in the game, player. I don't know how that went down.
How did they come up with the way the letters are laid out on a keyboard? That's just the most common? Is that the idea?
I think it was the Phoenicians did it. They fucking did everything. People in Phoenix.
They think they're so smart.
What else? Wasn't there something in school that had Phoenix attached to it? The Phoenix something? The Phoenix tests? The Phoenix...
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, is it something like similar to like SATs or like maybe it was like one of those like one of those tests where you bubble letter things in?
Now, hold on. Here's Dean in Pittsburgh's got something for us. Dean, Pittsburgh.
Hey, Ron. Hey, the typewriter used to be in alphabetical order, but people were able to type too fast, so they had to slow it down because the old machines would jam up. That had like the arms that would come forward and strike the paper.
Well, then why don't we fucking switch it around now?
I don't know.
What I mean? We don't have paper like that.
I'd patent the idea, Ron.
All right. Well, Dean, it's your idea. Why don't you get to the patent office immediately?
I'm going right now.
Yeah.
I'm used to it now without the keyboard. I
couldn't shit one way or another. I just want to when Siri finally fucking works. And they said that we're in years away from, and just a couple of years from that Iron Man type thing where you just end up talking to your computer. Like, I don't know, Bob. Fucking, it's like I fucked shit up at work. Bob's like this. Look, here's why, dude. You're late every day. You fucking drink till 4 a.m. You show up at 7. You know, you're keeping a fucking gun in your belt and you don't work in a place where you have to protect any money. I mean, you're the fuck up, dude. You're setting yourself behind.
I think it would take me no time to treat a robot like a friend. It would be very quick that I would immediately start treating it like a personality.
Then why don't you start treating your coworkers like friends?
I do.
Do you?
That's my biggest problem.
Because Chris feels like a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
You got Joe doing fucking baby talk like an infant. Lunch.
I advised him not to do that as a friend and coworker.
Vito, first of all, how come you weren't on the big Mets story that's going viral? Chris, did you see this of the guy that was playing catch with the kid?
Oh,
Yeah, the Scherzer, the kid who was playing catch with him in the outfield.
Who was doing it?
Scherzer, the pitcher for the Washington Nationals.
No, this was a Met, right?
No, it was a Nationals player playing with a kid.
And he was playing with a Mets kid?
Yeah.
What a fucking turncoat that kid is.
That's why I didn't want to talk about that. I don't want to make the Nationals look good ever. I fucking hate the Nationals.
You should have dragged that kid out of the stands and told him to get the hell out.
Who should have?
Scherzer.
No,
Look,
he's playing
he's
with him.
playing there, dude. He's not this. He's in fucking New York. You don't fucking throw a kid out of his own home stadium.
He's
Look,
playing.
this was fucking Vito's time. Why can't you leave it to Vito?
Nobody died for his mic. I've got it from here, Vito. I know what should have happened.
Rod's talking to somebody. It should be me. This is the fucking time of you, Chris. You talk over these guys. You don't include them in anything. You're sitting down today with Don. I want you naked for that. I want you so vulnerable for that meeting.
Okay.
Oh, no. Any chance he gets, he starts popping off the dad shirt.
I know. I'll tell you what. If there's a Scherzer's list, I'm going to fucking Chris on it.
He said he should drug.
And now Vito's fucking gone because you pushed him out.
Bullied him. He really bullied him.
Never considered myself a bully.
Really?
That's
Come
what
on.
bullies say.
That is ridiculous, Chris. Just embrace it. You bully these kids.
Never bullied anyone in my life.
You ate all of my bananas.
Well, I'm the banana boy. I'm the banana boy.
He loves to get a nickname started for himself.
By the way, Ryan says this. Why is W pronounced W, but it looks like it should be pronounced double V?
He's got a great point.
Yeah, he's got a great point if he's some fucking one-liner comic from the 80s. Did you ever notice this? W should be called double V. And then Boogie writes in, fun fact, longest word you can type just by using the first row of letters is typewriter.
Oh, that's weird.
This Luke says, you're wrong about Chris. He does suck on something. Dick.
No.
Nice.
You know, some of that stuff comes across as homophobic when you yell no.
Yeah, why?
I just want to make sure everyone knows I'm not sucking at penises.
Why?
I'm straight. I just want to get that out there. There's nothing wrong with being gay.
I think that's something only homophobic people say.
Sure. How about this? Is there something wrong with being unfunny? Because it seems like you never go for the fucking joke.
We had that Scherzer joke.
Yeah, that's good. You're right about that. This is something before you got there this morning, so he's outside. He's pacing back and forth. I'm just having a small cigar, missing the way me and my old friend used to be, having some relaxing moments. He comes over about a foot from me, and he screams, "You believe this fucking shit about Adele getting $140 million?"
Yeah.
I go, first of all, it's not like me and you were up for that money, Chris. Why did you just push Vito?
He was, I mean, it's really hot in here, and Vito getting close to me just
Vito,
makes it
move
even
over.
warmer.
I want you to take the mic for this. So what do you think about Adele getting that $140 million? I mean, is that good for you or what?
I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty exciting. She's so talented and she's great. And she deserves every success she gets.
Yeah, but $140 million, that's insane.
It's Vito time. Gail, do your Adele impression.
Thank you so much. You're so nice. Thank you.
Thanks. The Billboard Awards, she's like this. Look at this, another one, right? She's not even there. She's in her dressing room. Thanks, everyone. Look at him, little Billy Billboard. She's like she's in the 1800s.
I love it.
Like she's fucking bringing grog and ale to people. That's how she tugs.
Now, here's my confusion.
Give it to me.
Chris, what bothers you?
Oh my God, you're back to him?
I don't know why.
Why would you want to call this fucking moron back in? We finally had him on. Because he's broke. So he thinks it's not fair.
Ridiculous.
Any money would be a lot.
Well, 140 million seems obscene, especially.
You should be like this. You believe this? He makes $800 a week, no matter who it is.
Nice.
That's so you should be jealous. Hear what these fucking bellmen are getting? Tip-wise?
They do well. They do really well. It's not taxed either. And she's making a mockery of all the reward shows. They're trying to put her over, and she's just crapping all over them.
First of all, you just tried to guess what we said there, but that's not true. Vito, get back to your mic, would you please? Share the mic and share headphones.
That's cute.
You better get your fucking Mets fans in order, dude, because they're acting like fucking train bitches right now.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Videotaping those two, or just taking a picture?
Just taking a picture.
It's so warm next to him. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
Nice.
To be totally honest.
You guys are really close.
I'm touching Vito, and it's just like the sun.
That's great, dudes. That's fucking great. It's good stuff. Good creative stuff. Here's Pierre, Virginia Beach. Pierre.
How you doing, Benningtons?
Hey, man, what's happening?
Hey, man, the hat. I believe it's called a tam.
Oh, you're going back in time, bro. I love it.
It's got a brim, and it's bigger than a beanie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, except for it doesn't have that thing on the top.
Yeah, it doesn't have that weird golf ball.
Yeah, it doesn't get the bowler, the beanie thing that your grandma has. But yeah, I think it's called a tam.
All right, peace.
I think that apple hat was the closest one.
Yeah, probably. It's always about the apple hat. Couldn't even find any of these things. You know what? The drones shooting that Star Wars thing is fucking amazing. They had just regular drones recreate the Star Wars fucking battle, and it's phenomenal.
I had to watch that shit twice because I was so confused that was actually miniatures and they had recreated it like that. I'm not even sure how they were able to do that.
Well, they got GoPro cameras and they build out the drones to look like it. It's pretty simple when you really think about it. But then you've got to figure out what the actual fight was and shoot it the way it happened.
There's also some stop motion because they're doing the scene that leads up to him actually getting in the fighter.
I think the GoPro camera has changed everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Because it started just with for the sports stuff, the extreme sports jumped on the GoPro.
Yeah, it was
first.
extreme sports wanting constant selfies. So everyone's like, look at me climbing rocks, look at me fucking surfing. But now you can use it for everything. And some people run it 24 hours a day. Like if they have a car for insurance purposes, they keep that on constantly. So anything that comes up. Now, they're saying in a little while, your clothes are going to basically be a GoPro. So wherever you go, you don't have to hold anything up, because you're recording it. It's being sent back to your laptop and either kept there or, uploaded into the internet. But that also means all of us are on tape at all times. So if there's an argument, let's say Chris and Vito have an argument, that could just go to HR. It's not like, hey, let's call you guys in and talk it over. Which of you said this? It's just like HR has reviewed the tapes from you guys today and found out that you're both terrible employees.
They've already checked out your shirt cams and they've decided you're both fired.
But why would anyone who can't dance now ever want to start dancing in a bar? Because it could be immediately uploaded to everybody that you know. Everything. And you don't know now because it's just someone's fucking jacket or vest. You don't know you're being taped all the time.
Well, the thing that you say to yourself, okay, I have to, around certain people, I have to talk as though that person's going to tell everyone in the world.
Right.
Or if you say something at work, you have to assume that that person can say that same thing to your boss. It's like that type of behavior is expanding. Social media, people taking pictures all the time, then people filming all the time. Eventually, you will be so hyper aware of always presenting a version of yourself that you want everyone to see.
No, you're going to be in a courtroom. no matter where you go. So, like, let's suppose you and Chris have a fight. I take you, talk to you both. If I say to Chris, look, dude, I know she's being a bitch, but just let her do those things so we can have a good show. Now, that's done for the greater good. But if you see me saying, like, I know she can be a bitch, like, now forget the fight that started it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go back to why you. So now, is this progress, or do we just stop everything all the time? It's fucking crazy.
And we were talking about memories. I can't even imagine what we are doing to our memories now, let alone this idea that eventually everything will be recorded. We already are messing with the way we remember things.
But there's also something different, too. Let's say the amount of pictures people take now, right? Pictures used to be precious. You go back and look at pictures. Now pictures are useless. I don't give a fuck what pictures got taken in here yesterday or the day before, but it used to be like, oh, did you hear I got some pictures back? I'm picking out one and putting it on the wall. You know what I mean? The picture would mean everything. Think of pictures in your house that were there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Grandparents' pictures that would just be in the same spot for years and years and years. Now, nobody does that. They have a fucking Instagram that, you might look at once and that's it. Tops.
And it's so fast, the change of the way it used to be was only a couple years ago. Because I remember when I went to Italy, there wasn't, you didn't have pics messaging on your phone, but I had a digital camera. So I had a digital camera and when I came home, we sat down and looked at every picture that I took while I was there. But that would not happen. I've gone on vacations now. It's not like I'm like, let me take out my phone and show you everything. I take pictures and then they don't really end up meaning. I don't even look at them again.
Either that or you'd be uploading them every day and we'd already know about your vacation before you got home. We're like, oh yeah, yesterday, look who she was with. Who gives a shit now? Nothing means anything. It used to be what we used to call summertime in Fayetteville, right? You know what I mean? I mean, you would take time. You'd be in your fucking bare feet running over fucking rocks and stones all summer long.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore, I was just talking about this with Henrietta. I'm like, what the fuck has changed,
Yeah, it used to be.
I mean, PC? Is that it?
It used to be fireflies were flying in your mouth.
Flying in your mouth. And we'd be just sitting around taking a nap in a burned out old truck. No more, man. That's fucking gone. All right? Now everything's about Red Bull.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm so fucking whacked on Red Bull. Are you?
You're going to visit Fayetteville in virtual reality.
Right.
It's not going to be the same.
And people are into virtual reality more than they're into actual reality, man. And that's fucked. That's fucking with synapse in your fucking brain.
Soon you're going to turn around, you're going to realize Henrietta's just a sex robot.
Right.
She's not even real.
She used to be your fucking half aunt, who was there for you, playing in a fucking jug band anytime you want it, bringing in a hot pie, slicing up watermelon, singing in her cutoffs. What is she now? Just a fucking tiny little light that flies around, whispering sweet nothings into your ear. We're fucking whacked out. All right? That's the future. I've seen the future, and it sucks dog dick. You fucking mark my words. You see the future, turn around, start running the other fucking way. I want to get to 1953 as fast as I can. All right? I want to fucking seriously be here in the late 40s where Holocaust victims are coming over and I'm going like, eat. There's no Nazis around anymore. Enjoy some food.
It does sound like a better time.
Yeah, it's a fucking better time than being in some fucking weird Instagram world where you got to keep up all the time. You're like, oh, my cousin's got more followers than me. What the fuck is wrong with me? My dad is following her and not me. What is going down? I'll tell you what's going down. That's fucking civilization, man. Okay? This shit's over. You're half fucking cyborgs right now. You don't even know it. You gotta take that fucking pacemaker out of your fucking chest and get out and exist for a while. Chase a dog and butterfly. I don't have any more time for it. I don't know. When he's saying make America great again, I'm talking about Donald T. Trump, right? What year do you think he means?
I would say he means the mid-50s.
55.
Yeah.
Chris, what does he mean? What year?
1960.
1960.
I was going to go 1995.
Well, what happened then?
I was a kid back then.
Okay. So for you, you thought that it's an innocent time.
Yeah, innocent time.
See, that's what a lot of people think. They think their childhood. This is the important thing. He's putting it there. The thing that was made it innocent, you were innocent of facts. It's when you realize how fucked up people in society is, that's when you're like, oh, this fucking blows. So what are we in now? The information age. You're just finding out more shit sucks. You know? What I want to do is fucking get people disconnected.
Maybe he should change his slogan to make Americans kids again.
Okay, now we're on to something. I think, if you ever watched The Kings of Comedy, I'm a 1974 man. That's what he was talking about. And that's because of the music at that time. 70s fucking soul. 1974 man. That was always one of my fucking favorite lines. But that's what Donald Trump is saying. I'm trying to return you to your innocence. I'm trying to get you to think less.
That's why I chose the 50s, because I feel like that is the age group of people that he's speaking to, and he's saying, you will feel that way again.
Look what Bob in Jersey wrote to you. Oh, look at me. I was in Italy. Oof.
You know what, Bob?
Go ahead, say it, man.
It's fucking mean, is what it is. And
There are
I think,
bullies out
Bob,
there.
in Jersey, you're a shitty person.
Oh, by the way, Bob, you eat shit.
Yeah.
And guess whose shit it is? Your own.
Yeah. You eat it, and it's bad enough you eat it, but you like it.
And go
You
like
have
this.
a big smile on your face, and you're like, I love this shit.
Do you think he ever sits there, crouched over with a spoon up to his butt? And he's like this. I'm so hungry. I could take a shit right now.
No need for a bowl. I don't need the middleman. Spoon right to the mouth, from ass
Just
to
a
mouth.
Spoonful of shit makes Bob Jersey go round. That's what we're saying, Bob.
Bob, you're a mean-spirited shit eater.
Yeah, you are, dude.
And if you live in a glass house where you eat shit, we can see you.
I think he lives in a shit-covered house. Or she calls a diner. Sometimes I'll go into a diner first thing in the morning, and I'll just I like some meatloaf, mashed potatoes, some succotash, a big old piece of apple pie. And they're like, it's breakfast. And I'll look at the sign and go like this. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that said dinner. So anyway, I don't know what got us started on this, but,
Simpler times.
Yeah, simpler times is right. Hey, we got a break here.
Yes.
Right back. We got a guest coming up. Very, very, very funny young lady.
Liz Barrett's coming in.
So all you Barrett heads, get ready for this. It's going to be fun. Bennington.
Bennington is back, and we're here with Liz Barrett. Liz is headlining at Caroline's Comedy Club as part of their Breakout Artist Series tomorrow, Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30. Use the code BarrettHead for discounted tickets.
Everybody's a Barrett head now. That's how it's all coming down.
I know. I made that code up.
No, when you're the center Barrett, it must be a lot of responsibility to the other Barrett heads.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. No, this was created from actually some people who are fans of mine, so yeah. I used it instead of like discount. I thought it was more exciting.
Is there pressure when you're being called a breakout star, especially by a place like Caroline's?
Yeah, there is. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I feel a little nauseous. I assume I'm going to continue to feel nauseous till the show.
I like the idea that breakouts. I've never been called breakout anything. You know?
It's a very good title. That and What is it when they're like a child genius has like that one has a good.
Well, I'm past that.
Yeah.
I'm no Prodigy. I mean, yeah.
I was into, the band Prodigy and then, of course, the online community of Prodigy, which unfortunately did not last very long.
Yeah.
That and eWorld completely.
You were the only eWorld person that there was. That's something Apple tried, right?
Yeah, I can't really remember, but yeah, it was pre-AOL, I believe.
What is eWorld?
So it was pretty much like,
If you had an Apple computer, there was, for Apple computer people, you could go into this thing, but their chat rooms would have 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, it was very small. This is very early days of people even having PCs.
And it was more about graphics than anything else.
Yeah, so it was like set up like you could go into like a little village and then maybe like if you like to talk about sports. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
That was it. It was an amusement park more than just information.
So then each little building you could click on and that would be like a specific interest and then you could find like chat rooms or message boards or things like that. So I was really into eWorld. Did not stick around.
No.
That was
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. It was about the same time as CompuServe. Remember them?
I do remember CompuServe.
And then there was one more. I can't remember.
Was it Earthlink? That was one of those old school internet services.
I was never on Earthlink.
That was one I knew people had, but I never had it. I didn't know anything about it.
I think I had Earthlink.
Did you?
But that was more regular email. That wasn't.
Right.
I never went in a chat room.
Never, not even in the old days.
No. No, I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed, and so I didn't do it.
It was very smart not to be allowed to do that.
Yeah,
it was the first time that. After teaching children for generations, don't talk to strangers, you're like, talk to all the strangers.
Yeah.
It's like I watch my Lifetime TV movies. I know what goes on in those chat rooms.
Yeah. After you get past ASL, nothing good happens from there.
The old age, sex, location. Yeah. Or lie.
Yeah.
Lie.
I'm 17.
And I'm a 15-year-old girl from Hollywood. That was basically it. And those were just, but I don't think that there's ever been has there been a ton of like serial killers who met people online?
Well, there's all those Datelines, those years of the Datelines where then they trap people into coming. Remember the Datelines?
Dateline.
With Chris Hansen.
Chris Haynes, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Hansen.
Yeah,
Chris Hansen.
My favorite was one of the guys that they trapped was wearing an Opie and Anthony shirt.
Oh, no.
It was he was wearing a WoW shirt.
Oh, my
God. I'm just at home going, yay! That's fucking awesome!
Oh, my God.
Free press is good press.
Yeah. And I think he had a 6-pack of beer and some balloons. He's like, hey,
God.
thought I'd stop by.
I'm going to need you to take a seat.
I think
that was a catchphrase.
That wasn't a catchphrase.
Why don't you take a seat?
Take a seat.
So she's not here or she is? She doesn't exist. It's me.
But then it was always very uncomfortable because usually they would realize what was going on. They would sit them down and then they would say like, so am I free to leave? And he can't say you're under arrest because he's not a cop. And he's like, you may go if that's what you want to do. And then every time they left, they got tackled by police. Yeah. But they'd be like, so can I just walk out of here? In a way you can.
You don't want to ruin the show now, do you? You're on TV. Isn't that what everybody wants?
I mean, it was like an endless parade.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have 3-hour blocks of it. You're like, how many episodes can they do with this?
Yeah, and everyone the same. Nothing changed about it. Just some dude in a Camaro coming over to meet someone far too young for them.
Yes.
I was always really fascinated by the girl who played the underage girl who kind of helped bait them in. So she'd be standing at the door and she's like, yeah, I'm just going to go upstairs and change. But he'd be like, hey, just wait. And then she would run upstairs and then Chris Hansen would come out.
Yeah.
But she was actually over 18. She was a paid actress who just looked very young.
Now, did she talk to them on the phone or anything, like to lead to that?
I think they were doing all of that. So
she was just a cute young girl.
I think that, she was just a cute, young-looking adult woman who, was...
But she was an adult. So if they were just showing up to see her, they'd all be fine.
Right. But the problem is that they exchanged information that they believed that they were there to see a young girl. But yeah, I think that would be a really funny acting gig to land.
Sure.
Where you're going to have to say like, Mom, I got something. It's great. It's a little weird, but it's my big break.
And then the dude always had schnapps, no matter what. Like, brought some schnapps. Thought anybody like it.
Wine coolers.
Yeah.
That was always another favorite.
It's like
balloons and condoms. That was their whole kit. Yeah.
I think that there was one dude who like used that as I brought condoms, so I'm not a monster.
I'm not actually going to be touching her.
I'm not disgusting.
Wonder how many arrests they got out of those guys.
I think it was
all those guys all in prison now.
I think it was a ton.
I'd actually like to take a good long look at Chris too, because I don't know why he was so obsessed with that game. You know, I mean, it's when you want to host that.
I think a gig's a gig.
That's right. You're right.
I think it was a lot of hours.
Yeah. And I don't know whether you work your way up to what Chris Hansen, if there's a open mic night version of that where
for newscasters.
Yeah, you
that would
just
be
feel
horrible.
like I got in, gave it a shot. Oh shit! What was my line?
It was so close.
Yeah, you're just letting people get away at all times.
I wonder, like in journalism school, when they're all in journalism school, are some people like, yeah, she's a weather girl. Like, do they get very specific even then? And like the sportscasters sound like sports, or do they grow into that?
Does someone say to you, you've got the teeth for weather. You really have the teeth for weather.
Because like, let's say sports reporting, you're not actually a journalist, so it doesn't matter what you're reading. It doesn't matter whether you're doing sports or the news.
Yeah.
But if you've got a bald head, you're not doing the news. You know what I mean? Sports is fine for you. Whammy! But you're not going to be able to move over.
Right.
But I love this about sportscast. Any newscaster. They will tell you a story about people burning up. They will feel for it. But then they're able to move on. They have their feelings. They share. And then they're able to move on to that story about a puppy that was found.
Yeah,
and feel good about that.
That takes a serious skill, I think, that they're like, they always take the beat with like, boy. But, on the lighter side of the news, like, that's a very important beat to be able to figure that out.
I wonder if that's called in journalism school learning the pivot.
It is a pivot move.
Yeah.
And then they were all dead.
And if you...
but here's a chipmunk. It looks like it's painting.
It's water
Tell
skiing.
me.
Yeah.
Luckily, if you just take the paper and you straighten them out a little, you have now cleared
your emotions.
All right.
It's an etch a sketch of your emotions where you just shake things and you feel better.
Now
it's a distraction.
Now I'm okay. But it's interesting you said that about the looks because, and I feel bad because I don't want to pick on this newscaster because I'm a big fan. But John Davitt of New York One.
You only watch New York One.
I love New York One.
I don't know John Davitt.
John Davitt does the weather, and more specifically, he's like your go-to guy when there is extreme weather. When there's a hurricane, when there's a massive snowstorm, John Davitt is there for you. But John Davitt is, he's losing his hair, and it really makes me upset that they light him so improperly.
Right.
Like New York One is a little bit low budget, and they're coming in high and bright on this guy. And it's not easy for him.
I seen New York One where they just had a light bulb hanging from the ceiling just off of a cord.
I mean, most of the newscasters look two-faced. Like, one light, they look okay, and then it's rough.
I love the idea of anybody with the newscasters who land anything on the threes. It'll be like, Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's known for coal, metal products, and the world's largest bowling ball? You're just like, I know what's coming on the three. I know, and I don't care how big you get, you're still doing that bit. You could be on 60 Minutes, CBS Sunday Morning, you're still dropping the 3 bit.
It's a classic go-to bit. A girl that I went to high school with does local news, and I don't even know where because we went to high school here in New York, but she moved to another town, a small town, and she is like a local news celebrity there. She's very beautiful.
How big of a town?
I don't know. I have to look it up because it's one of those things like we know each other on social media. I haven't actually talked to her for years, but she was an actress.
Yeah,
she was definitely not a journalism major or anything. She came at it by acting and I believe modeling. But
wonder
now
how
she's
many
like
people are actors and models and not newscasters.
Well, I mean, that's the game. That's, you're trying to, the same way that somebody's in a commercial and they're talking about hemorrhoids, you're trying to pass that message of discomfort on to the people at home.
Right. And they're like, I'm going to terrify you.
Yeah.
Liz Barrett is in studio with us. Liz is headlining at Caroline's Comedy Club as part of their Breakout Artist Series tomorrow, Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30. Use the code BarrettHead for discounted tickets. Go to carolines.com for more information, and you can follow her at Liz Comedy.
Is it Barrett Head? Singular or heads plural?
I combine the words.
Oh.
Just like
true code.
Barrett Head, no space.
I did ask if it was too long a code, but they said no. I didn't like the word cheap.
Yeah. How do you like playing Caroline's? Is it one of the...
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different vibe. Like, people come specifically to Caroline's and they're really excited to be there, and like, they're taking pictures and, you know, and I did it through, they have a competition in March, comedy.
March Madness?
Whatever it's called. And I did really well with that. So I was in the semifinals, and then they gave me this opportunity.
Were you also, is it Montreal? Checking you out now? Isn't there like a New Faces thing?
They are? No, I don't know about that.
I had heard that.
Get some buzz going.
Yes,
I love it.
Let's get the buzz
Montreal,
going.
come look at me.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I am going to, I'm going to Atlanta to the Laughing Skull Festival next month.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool. And, I was on Gotham Comedy Live, which is, through Gotham Comedy, Club, about a year and a half ago.
Now, who was the big celebrity host that week?
Why am I zoning? Chris Titus.
Oh, sweet.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, before they would have like big comedians, celebrity comedians doing it, but lately Gotham seems like they're just using just more straight celebrities. Like, you don't have to be.
Well, I know they use David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
The Hoff. And they use Pamela Anderson.
Right.
Who I heard she is a comedian. But I think they have shows on Access.
Right.
So I think that's the tie-in.
Now, your kind of comedy, it's always, to me, the more difficult because you'll do a lot of one-liner stuff.
A lot.
So it needs to land 100% of the time.
Yes.
That's the problem with that type of humor. Because if you're telling a story, you just sneak these jokes in the middle of the story.
Yep.
But when you stand out there, the way the great Stephen Wright did, and say, here's the bit, that's scary.
And it's a lot of material to remember, quite frankly. Like, they're like 20-second jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I add anything to them or try to make them longer, they don't work.
They don't work at all.
They don't work. So I have to keep with it. So it's like, you know, if I'm doing 45 minutes, it's like 3 minutes a joke. You do the math. I'm not a mathematician, so you can figure it out. So it is a lot of material. But it's a way to stand out, basically.
But there's also, I think, math that plays into that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I time all my jokes, and it's very set up, basically.
Yeah, very specific.
Very specific. Although, as I've gotten along with it, I can play with it a little bit more.
Right.
But there is a timing to it, and if I do anything in the middle of a joke or whatever, it just doesn't.
You can't have a cough. You can't turn your head to see if somebody else did something.
There's no crowd work in the middle of setting up the one-liner joke.
No.
I've started to do a little more crowd work, but like my joke is always like, "Oh, that was awkward," like because it's always weird and awkward, and I'm jealous of people who can tell like 3 stories, but it's just not my style.
But is that the way humor came to you, even as a young person? Like, even before you started doing it, you're like, I'm going to think of this isolated joke.
No, I really told more stories, I guess.
Yeah.
But my family's pretty funny, and we would just say, like, if you hang out with us, we like
dry?
say something very dry and like off the cuff and then move on. So I guess probably.
Yeah. But the amount of people who have been able to pull this off, Hedberg, of course, was genius at it. And I was just talking to Stanhope about him the other day, and I'm like with a regular comic, 2 guys could be talking, and then you go, oh, that's funny. You ought to develop that. But with the kind of humor that we're talking about, he said that Stanhope would always have a notebook with him, and then you just look over and just see him walking around during the day with his notebook, hoping one of these things would just land.
Yeah. And sometimes I will write something and it's like, that's it. I never have to work on it.
Right.
But a lot of jokes I have to like, massage and whatever it is. So it's just a tremendous amount of material to remember.
I know, it's crazy.
I'm like a little frightened, but
does it also have to go in that order for you to work,
Not necessarily, but like things have to sort of progress. Because if I do certain stuff at the beginning, everyone's like, I don't know what's happening here. Like, is she having a stroke? Like, I don't get what's happening.
Right.
So I do have to sort of layer it. But I mean, everybody has to do that.
Do you normally know early on if this is the type of crowd that can respond to that kind of humor, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know I have to corral a group and I like win them over, but I know from like basically my first joke, if they're going to
be there with you,
be there.
Yeah.
And if they're with you, they're like, and then there's always that one who's like staring at you.
Right.
They just stare like for as long as you're on stage, like no response. And you're like, and you always focus on that one person.
What is that about human beings that you will look through a crowd to catch that person and the rest of the room could be dying and you're like, what the fuck is this?
And that's the person you're like laying in bed at night just saying like, why did he not even
I think
move
it's
his
a comedian thing though.
Yeah.
I really do.
I don't know. I wondered, do you think Mick Jagger is like, why is that guy shaking his ass? The whole place is dancing. The whole place.
And he's like sitting here like, what's happening?
And then the Stones are backstage and he's like, I don't know, Keith. It's just not worth it to me. That guy is there at every show.
But even when I'm in the audience, I will notice somebody being that person.
Yes.
Mostly because you can watch a comedian's eye line go back to that person.
That's very true.
So then you start to be like, why, like, does he know that person? And then you just look and it's just somebody with just like a corpse's face, just like staring completely into his soul. So I think that's very common, that like even I think audience members can sense that there's that one person who isn't having a good time.
There's always hopefully there's only just one who's like looking. If you have more.
I got some Spy Report comedy news, two different ones. Number one, they announced when Big J's first special is going to be. But then we're going to keep the Philadelphia news coming along. Judge ruled at the preliminary hearing that Bill Cosby will stand trial.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So that changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah. This is one that they're not letting go of. And Cosby, if I was him, I would eat worse. I would do anything to die before this happened, So at least some people say, I think he would have beat it.
Yeah,
there's somebody in the back of someone's mind like, I think he would have won that case.
But you can see he's like playing up the frailty every time
God.
Yeah, he's got somebody with him now to help him walk, because how could I rape anyone? I can barely even walk.
This man was doing like an hour and a half shows like months before, and now he's like can't hobble to the car. I don't even understand it.
Hour and a half was him doing a drop-in. These shows would go 2.5 hours easy.
Yeah.
Easy. There's very few people that can pull off that, and now no one remembers that part of his life. It's gone. He's gone as high as in comedy as a human being can possibly go. And now that's all forgotten about.
Yeah, it completely changes the history of it. And I've noticed this just from talking to comedians, since the story really broke, that like people struggle with being able to say, at one time I really liked his comedy, or at one time he was my biggest hero. Even now they're going, yeah, I guess I felt that way, but I feel uncomfortable saying I felt that way.
I never liked the Cosby Show. I don't like those kind of shows, but I always thought Bill's stand-up as good as it can
killer.
get. Yeah.
It's killer.
But then again, I don't like a lot of those rape jokes. There's no one in the day.
You like a good rape joke.
But it's weird. I mean, there he is in just some giant house in Philly that he can't leave now,
Yeah.
Where's he standing trial? Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's going to be in at least, I don't know, in the metro, but because he lives like in the main line. So he's right out in the richer part of that area. It's really beautiful. He's got a big house Only black guy on the street in Norristown, Pennsylvania. You know, you get so successful, you don't even have to see another black person. That's how big. He went from North Philly, he went from North Philly, was surrounded with all these stories that now I don't have to say any. I'm the only black person I see.
But I like that that's not that far in distance.
No.
When you move up in success and you're like, thank God I can move 4 blocks away to a place I've always felt like I deserve to be.
Right. That is true, and it's not like the idea of a house changes as you become successful or a car changes. You just get a better one. But it's not like you get something that most people have never experienced before. You're like, okay, your pool was bigger, but I've been in a pool.
Right.
There's no experiences that all human beings don't share.
That's what they say is the massive difference that is very hard for Americans to understand, like true poverty, is that your closeness to Brad Pitt wealth is like this big compared to what to be like to not have shelter, to not have access to clean water.
Yeah, once you get clean water and medicine, you're like, yo, I get it. But you're just like, their water's better than mine. Their house is bigger than mine. But it's the same.
Like, they have a bathroom, they just have 5 of them. But at least we all have bathrooms.
Right. I don't know. A fancy bathroom is pretty nice.
It is incredibly nice.
Yeah.
But it's not a different experience. It's like a hotel room. If you pay the extra money, you're like, this is a better hotel room. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But it's still a hotel room.
Right.
Still got the basics.
Right.
Yeah.
No amount of money can buy you the ability to not have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, I've put a lot of money into this.
Yes.
Turns out I'm never going to have to shit again. This is really great.
Oprah does not need to use the toilet. That's how wealthy she is. I always laugh if you see, like, there's Oprah's house, and it's gigantic, and you're like, well, does she have kids? No. Well, is there sisters living with her? No. How big can a house get before it gets uncomfortable?
I think I would be really cautious of that just for guests' purposes.
I wouldn't want it.
You have 17 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Someone's moving in.
Yeah,
Right.
and someone's also not going to pay for that hotel down the street.
That's why it's great to live in New York, because you could always tell people, it's a New York apartment.
There's
what can I
do.
tell you? I'd love to have you here, but you can't.
You're going to not live in my living room for a
You
week.
can't lay on the floor.
No.
Go to a place that's 400 hours a night, and you'll experience it yourself. You'll have a nice hotel, and I'll meet you later for brunch.
Not that I don't want to see you.
No, I definitely want to see you.
I definitely want to see you.
You kidding me? I love talking about high school.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then, luckily, the hotel prices are so expensive, they're not going to want to stay very long. They're not going to be able to afford for more than a couple days.
They were going to Chicago, and hotel prices and airline is the one thing that just you have no idea what it's going to cost at any time. So they're going out to Chicago. I go, I'm going crazy. It's $500 a room, and I go, what are you talking about? Everywhere in Chicago? They're like, everywhere in Chicago, something must be going on. You can't do that with any other product,
That's insane.
It's not like you go into a bar and you find out that a beer is now $78.
It's a very busy night.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are willing to buy this beer tonight.
Yeah. Hotels do that, though. Like, you ever go into a hotel room and you see the price on the door, you're normally paying cheaper. Because they'll say this room is like $415. You're like, $415? I spent $74 on this. I must be really good at picking hotel rooms.
Which is why they can always, they'll get you on something like that. They'll say, we'll give you this upgrade. But it doesn't really cost them any money to give you the upgrade.
Or free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi.
For $500.
Yeah, there's
but I do need Wi-Fi. I gotta have it. I don't know why. I didn't have it before. I didn't used to have it at all, and I was fine. And now I have to have it constantly. A friend of mine, when I was talking to them, everything that their Wi-Fi, their computer, everything went out at the same time because they get it all from one place.
Yeah.
So now they got zero entertainment. Zero.
It's horrible. I have that exact problem with Time Warner. Something happens with Time Warner.
Yeah. Somebody drives into a pole somewhere, you're done.
I gotta pick up a book.
You're left with your thoughts, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Right.
Then suddenly you're just
and you're
in the middle of your living room, what do I do?
Like you have to, oh God, you don't want to know what's up there.
It was 12 years ago when the whole East Coast went out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember I had 48 hours. And the number of times that I attempted to turn on the TV or the light was embarrassing. Like 5 minutes after I found out, I'm just like this. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then 10 minutes later, oh, shit, yeah. And my thoughts were just
too much.
Giant.
Yeah.
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 They're giant.
Yeah.
You feel my heart beating in my chest.
You had the feels. The feels.
I was feeling things.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You
numb.
can't.
Terrible.
It's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate to say this, it's like being in nature. You know, that horrifying feeling when you're surrounded by the planet that you were born onto.
Yeah, and then you start looking around and you think, everything is so alive. Does that mean I'm going to die eventually?
It was weird. Not too long ago, I'm at the movie theater, and outside the bathrooms, you're always waiting for someone. And I looked around, and every single person, and it had to be 31, they were checking their phone at the same time. And it just suddenly dawned on me, like, what a twilight zone that I was living in. That
it's very weird.
Yes, phone. Like, they're not talking on the phone. They're banging their finger on the phone.
What do you need from me, phone? More touching, phone? You need my eyes and my full attention? It's very easy to realize it when you're on the subway, because I remember the feeling of when like cell phones were becoming more and more popular. And so it used to be like you'd be on a train and you'd see 10 people reading a newspaper, and you'd see like 4 or 5 people reading a book, and then you'd see 1 to 2 people looking at their phone. And now it's 100%.
It's 100%.
And then like one weird person still has a book. And you're like,
if you see a person reading a paper, it's like, you're like, what is wrong with that person?
Isn't that strange? But but Stanhope just said this the other day. He goes, he likes to read the paper in the morning because it ends. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly trying to refresh.
There's more.
Things.
Until then you just found the bottom of the news. You're just looking at like viral videos.
Isn't there another Trump story? I'll read about how stupid or great he is. I don't care. I just want to refresh this. We got a break here, Chris? We'll be right back. Bennington.
Back with Bennington, and we're hanging out with Liz Barrett. Go check her out. She's headlining at Caroline's Comedy Club as part of their Breakout Artist Series tomorrow, Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30 p.m. Use the code BarrettHead for discounted tickets at carolinescomedy.com.
I'm glad to see Caroline's is doing stuff like this still.
Yeah.
Playing a little catch-up ball with some of the other... Because there's a lot of clubs in the city. People that are coming in from around the country, around the world, there's so many great places to see comedy now, and it's none of the places that the people in Times Square advise you to go. It's the saddest thing. There is like so many great, like you'll just go in and it's killer set after killer set, except for the places that they sell stuff to tourists. It's heartbreaking.
When you walk around Times Square, you're like, God, I hate comedy. Like, you hear stuff, you're like, oh God, don't go to that location with that person because it's going to go bad for you.
And when Gail's grandmother was here, her and her girlfriends bought all those tickets.
Oh no.
Yeah, they did. And they're like, we got invited to the place where David Letterman goes when he does stand up. I go, you were invited? Or you bought them? Well, we bought them, but we bought them at a discount. I go, okay.
You are not going to see him tonight.
Yes, you're not going to see a single person that you were guaranteed to see. Because it's always like Jimmy Fallon, Louis C.K.
Because they're just hanging around.
Yeah, they're just hanging around.
Yeah.
They hang out in Times Square. That's like their hangout spot.
Chris, when you came back from break, your guy Joe had the volume up so loud that it actually blasted the speakers in here.
Joe, you know you keep it at 40. That's where you keep it.
Where would you have it? At 1,040?
It was at 33.
Now, why were you? What was that about?
I don't know. That's a loud song to really blew out the speakers.
We're playing the same songs at the same time every day. This is the first time that ever happened. The song isn't loud on its own. You have to bring up volume.
Day in and day out, we're playing these same things. And we got a guest in studio, Joe. Come on.
Thank you, Milkshake. See?
I grabbed my heart. I was terrified.
I know. I thought it was
we were
another
under attack.
You know what? Yeah, it was 9/11.
that would be weird. You know what they hate?
Yeah.
Comedy. I bet they do, actually. But
I would hate comedy if I was...
sure.
Yeah. If I was in ISIS, I'd be like, what's so fucking funny? What are you joking around about all the time?
I saw someone was sharing a clip that ISIS has got their sights on this pop star right now. So she's a pop star.
Please tell me it's Grande. It's
no, it's not an American pop star. She's a Muslim pop star, but
they're mad at her.
They're very pissed off. She's like the top of their hit list right now because she's like sexy, and then she makes her videos like they're like anti-ISIS videos, and she's very.
I thought you were saying they were trying to recruit her to like dazzle camouflage us. I was very confused.
I don't think they like women. I'm not going to say, it's wrong to say things about people. I don't think they like women with power.
No, they don't. And they definitely don't like women embracing sexuality. And she's attractive. She's shaking it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that if I was in ISIS.
But that's where they focus, like
there she
a
is.
Muslim singer. Like, don't they have bigger fish to fry than this?
Well, first of all, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She seems like she's a Vulcan.
She's
know what I mean?
The same woman?
Yeah, this is her. And then like her videos are like anti-ISIS music videos, and she's in like fighter gear, and she's like going up against ISIS. Yeah,
good. So she's actually leading. I mean, she's starting trouble with ISIS, which is really ballsy.
So she's very ballsy. She's a very attractive chick. And she's
a
like
looker, as my grandfather would say.
Yeah. And she's like number one on their kill list right now.
But I mean, don't they have something bigger to deal with?
The end times. I mean, they're dealing with the end times, you know? Like if you even say to them, hey, there's some... Do you ever want, hey ISIS, you want some of this rice pudding? And they're like, no, I don't want rice pudding. I'm trying to start a religious war. But they, you know what I mean? They don't want anything to take them off of their focus.
Like, so you think they don't even have they probably don't have many hobbies that are outside of
How could you?
Making hummus.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little you want, you're like, no, I don't want to watch Big Bang Theory. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about a religious war right now.
Right.
I don't think we can be in touch with how you feel. Like, if you're into religious wars, that's all you're into. Like,
it seems like it should be 100%.
Yeah.
Although they said that those guys that flew in, when they were in Daytona Beach, they were going to titty bars like everybody else.
Really?
And they're just like, you would think once you got into a couple of Daytona Beach strip clubs, you would think to themselves, this place isn't so bad.
Yeah, this is nice.
I mean, these young girls, they come down here, they run away from home, they'll rub themselves on your kneecap while you're, enjoying some drinks. Maybe ISIS is wrong.
Maybe. They need like a rum springer, like their own version of the rum springer, where you have a chance to get outside of your tiny little world and just experience sin and see if you like sin better. Because sometimes you might like sin better.
Who doesn't? I mean,
well, I've been, I grew up in Pennsylvania too, so I'm used to the Amish. I've been on a rum springer since 1977, and I haven't completely given in. You know what I mean? Because there's some things I haven't finished yet. So I'll tell my mom I'm not sure. Think I'm coming back, and then I'll go, what are we doing on the phone? We're Amish. And we have to both hang up. But by the way, when I'm down visiting my folks, you're never going to get any fruit like like an Amish cantaloupe will make me start crying. It's so good. And I'll always go there and I'll buy, if the whole family works, and they'll sell you watermelon, cantaloupe, and corn and all this. And I'll go, and I always say the same thing. I go, I tried to call you guys today, but there was no answer. And they're like, well, we don't have a phone. I go, no, I was yelling down the street. I was seeing if you were open.
But you could eat a tomato down there like an apple. You're just like, this is fine. True. Someone's coming up. You want a sandwich with that? No, I'm just fine. Like
you don't. You could just sit with a tomato and feel like, well, this is better than anything I've ever had before. What did you guys do to it? And they go like this. Nothing. That's our trick. We didn't do anything to the fruit or vegetables.
We didn't try to make it bigger. We
let it grow out of the earth.
They make great furniture too. I've heard.
Yeah, they do, but they won't use all of the tools that it takes.
Right, so they're not going to use a power tool.
Right, they'll sit, if they drill, they're crank drill.
But they do some pretty solid, like rocking chairs, benches. They do nice furniture.
Yeah. How about nails? Do they use nails?
I think they'll use like a wooden screw. Wooden screw
that's
to
a
get
lot
into
of work.
It. Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Even their marital aids, like they'll have the old hand crank. They don't.
That simpler times.
A lot of cranking.
But if you want, if you want it, you got to work for it. But
it's refreshing. Oddly,
yes, it is. It makes you appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But if they say you're going to plow, but you're pulling it on the back of a horse, I'd be like this. There will be no food this year. That's too much.
I thought about it.
Work for me to do. And then they have some people, like, there's spin-off groups. And they're like Dunkers and there's all Mendonites. And they're like, well, we believe it, but we also want a refrigerator. So that's where
I never heard of a Dunker.
Yeah, there's Dunker, there's Mendonites. And like sometimes you'll see them and they're just, they're partying a little bit, or they'll go into town and buy some, but they'll still dress in like black pants and a hat. Like, we'll keep that going.
I saw a family of Mennonites who were visiting family in Brooklyn. Yeah. It was so wild to me that these
they weren't Hasidics.
No, they were not. They were not Hasidics.
You're right. Yeah. They are like Christian Hasidics.
They are.
Yeah.
It's a similar vibe, but they were visiting, and it was so crazy to see Mennonites in Brooklyn, and they were playing with their cousins. There was they had like 9 kids in the Mennonite family.
Well,
but they were seeing their like distant family who I'm guessing broke off in a Rumspringa type way.
Yeah, but then they want to stay close to it. But the Amish, they call us English or Englishmen. So they'll go, you English come in. I go, I don't know. Maybe you didn't hear. I know you don't watch TV. We ain't English anymore. All right? That was a big fucking fight. We won. American now. But they don't pay taxes.
What?
Yeah, they don't have to pay taxes at all. But here's the bad part. They can't vote or serve in a jury like us.
Oh,
so
I mean, really? Whoa.
So they don't get all the rights and excitement that we have.
They don't have all the goods and services we get from our country.
I look for any kind of, I call them Amish Protestants, but see whatever like runoff groups there are, because you're going to find out there's a lot of them more than you think. By the way, now they've owned everything you can in Pennsylvania. They've moved into Delaware, Maryland, Ohio, Indiana. They're spreading out because the only interest they have is land. They don't have anything else they want, but they have these big families, and they're just spreading. But great neighbors to have, and they also grow their own tobacco.
Yeah, they do.
That's supposed to be fantastic.
Oh, that's a moneymaker.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All right, what do we got?
So the first order is the Nebraska Amish.
Well, we're talking about springing off from Amish.
Yeah. Like, for example, where does a Quaker fit into this? Does Quaker have anything
totally
to do?
Different.
No. It's different?
Quaker is totally different. Quakers are the ones that came in and did Philadelphia.
Yeah.
William Penn was a Quaker.
Maybe I thought it was related because there's a lot of Amish in Pennsylvania.
Well, they're German.
Yeah.
But a Quaker, the Quakers have a church still, right?
I think so.
And they have a church that you just go in and you sit and no one gets up to speak. And then sooner or later you get up and you leave. Because they don't want anybody in charge.
Right.
It's like a subway car.
It is.
Yeah.
If it was traveling, it would be the F train. But since it's not, it's a religious thing.
Now, there's a Quaker cemetery in Prospect Park, and I know their big thing is you can't have headstones.
Wooden headstones.
So it's all flat.
Yeah.
It's completely flat.
Or as we would call it, a lawn.
Right. A lawn of dead.
Yes.
I'm learning so much here. I didn't know I would learn so much.
I have a friend who's a Quaker, and she invited me to the thing. And we're all just sitting there, and I started eating a sandwich. I brought a sandwich with me. And they're like, what are you doing? And I go, who's in charge? Then I go, I'm going to do whatever I want once I'm in here. If no one is in charge, how do we have rules?
No one's in charge. There's no priest.
There's no priest. There's nothing like that. All right, Chris, if you come up with the spinoff names, you haven't found them yet.
Yeah, I found the subgroups of the Amish.
Yeah, well, what are they?
They're there's the para-Amish groups.
Yes.
They're called the Believers in Christ. Then there's the Vernon community, the Caneyville Christian community. These are all subsects of the Amish.
Subsects of the Amish is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the spinoff from them.
It's like a Protestant, like they had a break in their religion.
Like here, the Roman Catholics, that's the true religion of Christ. Then the break-offs of this catch can, these idiots that are swinging snakes over their heads.
Sure.
People yelling out, speaking in tongues.
Nailing their problems to the door. I mean,
yes.
Come on with that.
Seriously, if you're not a Roman Catholic, you're basically some kind of a heathen, you know?
I take it you're a Roman Catholic.
Oh, yeah. That just happened.
I'm Catholic too, don't worry.
Yeah, but you have to be Roman Catholic, not like those other Catholics that I don't believe in at all.
Polish Catholic?
Well, the Greeks have a spinoff that they go, we want to have the tackiest ever done. Tackiest church. You ever been to a Greek church?
Yeah, there's like a lot more gold and just glitziness.
Purple and red. Tackiness. It's like if Donald Trump decided to open a church somewhere.
Don't give him any ideas.
Well,
I mean, I really...
Here's the thing. Were you around when the Pope came to town?
Yes, I was.
Now, have you ever seen anyone else react that way to a religious leader where they'll shut the streets down?
No.
I seen Joel.
It's like a rock star.
Yeah, Joel Osteen. Everybody loves him. I stood next to him in a urinal in this place. You're never going to get next to a urinal with the Pope.
I didn't know he spoke so little English, though. Like that was. I didn't know that.
I mean, he knows it, but he doesn't want to act like he knows English.
Yeah. Well, it's good for when you hear other people talking around you, and then you can pretend like you can't speak.
Like an old person who doesn't turn on his hearing aid, you know.
But the funny thing about the Pope is the way he came to town, he drove right past my house. So if I would have went up to the park, I'd have been 90 deep. But I could just walk outside of my place, just stand there, and the Pope drove by. And he was waving, just, because he came in off the FDR. They're coming like a bat out of hell. He wasn't stopping and getting out. But people showed up there, and they were just like, they felt better from seeing him. Now, I had the same exact experience when I saw the Jay Giles band, but I had to hear a tune first.
Yeah. You received a blessing, though, nonetheless.
In my own way, I felt it happened that way.
Was the Pope in the Fiat?
Yeah, he was in the same car. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that little Fiat. Never drives himself, though. I don't know whether he has a license, but I think he's too timid to get behind the wheel.
I think I read he does drive.
They said he used to also, just before he came Pope, he was living in the slums of Argentina somewhere. He'd take the subway every day. He would just get out and he'd just be standing there. And now he's the most powerful person on the planet. Powerful. He can't do war on anybody. But,
sure.
A lot of people like him.
Did you see how he used to, even when he was Pope, sneak out at night? And then they're like, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because...
What was he sneaking out for?
Smoke a joint, have a cocktail.
Gotcha.
Meet
I
girls.
think it was to help the poor.
Anything. Really, just from some Pope time.
I need some Pope time.
Yeah.
Get a slice. Yeah.
But seriously, if I saw the way the people treat the Pope, and then I belong to one of these half satanic, I don't know, I think it's called Baptist or Methodist, I'd be like, why am I even with Methodists? They actually pass out meth. They'll just...
That's not right.
What?
It's not a good idea.
Those things are tweaker pads more than anything else. That's why I'm saying to Trump, if it's Trump or Hillary, they got to start burning churches again. We got to.
If you're going to get someone's attention these days.
Oh, we're going to get attention.
Yeah, I think either way, we're getting attention.
Wouldn't it just be funny out of nowhere that you just dropped a line like that? Trust me. I will burn down any non-Catholic church in this country.
Wait, what is that?
What? There'll still be a couple of people who are like, yeah, I guess so.
What religion is Trump?
Exactly.
Oh, I've gotten the question.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Nobody
Lately,
knows.
He's become, he says he's Christian, but he went to, a friend of mine saw him here in New York at one of those non-denominational churches where you could be anything. And it was the one that remember there was a preacher in New York in the 1930s that was just about being nice and being successful and stuff. I can't think of his name, but he almost started the self-help movement in the country, and he would pack them in the city because, you know, it wasn't about sin.
Right.
You know, it wasn't about doing right or wrong, just being like that's why people like Joel Osteen, because he doesn't hold you to anything. You know?
Like, look at that tree. You're the tree.
Yeah, everything's good. Be nice to people. Be nice to you. Norman Vincent Peale. I just thought of his name.
Yeah,
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That he started this non-denominational church. And, you know, you're like, that's very nice of you, but we got a pope that's already got this thing set up. I mean, it's done.
And he doesn't like me to meddle too much.
Yeah, it's a great organization. Okay? It's an international organization. The biggest landowner in the world is the Catholic Church.
Wow, still?
Still, to this day.
Even the Queen doesn't beat him?
No, because the Queen is basically on one, and I'm not saying anything about a shitty, rainy little island over there where the church is, I mean, I don't care where you go, you're going to, it's like the way Holiday Inn used to be in the 1960s. They were everywhere, you know? And the Pope was like, we should do something to help the poor people. And then you're like, hey, what if you sold some of that land? I can't talk right now. I got to get moving, but let's, you know,
We'll
help.
work it out.
Yeah, because you got $1 trillion worth of money if you start selling some of these places. Like, you imagine this, you got this big thing of land, then you build an actual castle for people to go into. Like when you're in St. Patrick's, that's a castle. And then you find out, oh, they're open 2 hours on a Sunday. And that's it. What are you doing the rest of the time in there? You playing basketball inside? What happens the other 6.5 days? We need it.
Rent it out. Party space.
There's 150 people that are going to be here at 3 o'clock on Sunday. We need this. Could you imagine if it was any other business? I sell hamburgers in this giant place, selling at 1 o'clock, 2:15. Then everybody out immediately.
That's kind of like going to Europe, though. The stores are never open that long.
They don't need to be. Yeah,
they're open like an hour and a half a day.
Well, the people are laying down over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're laying down. They're having a nice long meal.
Yeah.
It takes them forever to do anything in Europe. Where I don't even think if they have a traffic jam over there, people get mad at each other. People in this country act like they could die if someone pulls ahead of them to get into the Lincoln Tunnel. They'll go screaming into the streets. Chris, I didn't notice again. You ran me to the end of I went overtime.
It's end of the we're a minute over.
I feel like we made a nice friend today.
Aw.
I'm always glad
Thanks for having me.
You know, I'm always glad to have a Catholic here. What's your background, Joe?
I grew up Lutheran.
That's not even a religion.
He looks a little Lutheran.
He really is.
He does.
That's something
And he
completely
acts it,
made up.
yeah.
By the way, don't you hate when people won't accept what he says? I grew up Lutheran, like it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Have you gone and changed to something else?
No, I haven't, so I'm still Lutheran.
Why don't you go be a Zen Buddhist? You seem like that would work for you.
I'd have to learn more about it.
God,
Yes.
he's so young, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's very, very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's he's a sperm.
Yeah.
What he looks like. I literally would not be surprised if I came in here and you had just reached an egg one day.
Joe's changing.
Yes.
He's your own Benjamin Button.
He really is.
Yeah, I'm actually 75.
Do you even have to shave, or is it 3 times a year?
Yeah, I mean, it comes in really patchy.
No.
So I have to shave the patchiness away.
I will put milk on your face, let the cat lick it. I guarantee you'll be ready to go off and go to a wedding after this.
Yeah, I mean, I can get this little mustache for me, and then it comes in different places.
All right,
You're really selling that.
Yeah, this Sunday you're a ring bearer, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance it on that pillow when you walk down there?
So cute in that tiny suit.
Yeah,
you gotta walk slowly.
Do you ever have like women your own age that are like, no, you're not as old as you say you are?
Yeah. Yep. And they also don't believe that I'm half Puerto Rican too. I get that one a lot.
I don't believe that you're half Puerto Rican. I know that your mom's Puerto Rican, but I think she found you in some kind of a sad white place that they drop children off of, like a foundling center. If I was half Puerto Rican, and you speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
But with a Minnesota accent?
Yeah.
I would love being half Puerto Rican.
I know. It'd be a really cool perk.
We should try to drop you off in Spanish Harlem and see if anyone believes you.
No one will.
Luis J. Gomez gets furious.
Will.
Yeah. Luis J. Gomez gets furious when you say
He just says no, he's not.
Yeah.
He just simply is not Puerto Rican.
Well,
How old are you, can I ask?
26.
No way.
No.
Yeah.
No.
26 years old.
You do not even look, seriously, do you know, like, Jim Morrison was getting ready to die when he was your age?
Yep.
And you look like you should be carted before you can get into a Chuck E. Cheese. You look like you shouldn't be able to go into a ball pit without a parent being there.
I still get carded when I buy cigarettes.
Really?
Every single time.
Any woman with you has some kind of sick problem.
Yeah.
You know, you should probably only date those teachers down south. Although they only seem like they're interested in black kids. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
The senior, the teacher.
Well,
kid
definitely
touchers?
the athletes. Like
Yeah. Like I'm with the quarterback. Oh, good, because you're 38. So you should have finally got to that point where you score the quarterback for yourself.
I right all the wrongs from high school.
Yeah.
I'm finally sleeping with the quarterback.
Good, you're the prom queen, lady. How's that feel? Now, Chris, on the other hand, is only 21 and he looks a million. Seriously, you look like you've seen too much.
I go to bars now. This is going to be awesome for me.
Grizzled.
You seem like you should be there with an old cigarette lighter, lighting a thatched hut on fire in Vietnam. That's how dead-eyed you'd look. Burn it down!
Only way to be sure.
Yeah.
You guys are delightful. I have
Aren't we
to
nice?
say.
Yeah, we're nice
really, I was scared, and now
Were you nervous about coming in?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Next time you're going to come in, you're going to feel totally at home.
I know.
You know?
I'm very excited.
Good.
Everybody check out Liz Barrett at Caroline's Comedy Club, part of their Breakout Artist Series tomorrow, Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30. Use the code BarrettHead for discounted tickets. Go to carolines.com for more information and follow her on Twitter at Liz Comedy.
That's it for us. We'll see everybody again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!